Monday Night Motorsport, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, penultimate week, term 2, night 1, and it's Waste Options GT night, and what a doubleheader it promises to be. Later, GT3 Pro coming to you from the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, but first up, a depleted GT4 field at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in Ontario, Canada. Zach Cope and Adam Lavis with you. Welcome to our coverage at the end of a long weekend for progressive and civilised parts of the country, as well as the Northern Territory, it's important to note. And we are set fair for what will be a big night of racing here. Grid looks like this. Sam Muir and Aidan Carl on the front row, Alex Court and Andrew Dyson on the second row. Third row, Jordan Malcolm, Sam Stride. Fourth row, David Baz, Robert McGrath. Fifth row, Dale Sharp, Eduardo Zamora. 2:30 in the afternoon, server time, 23 kilometre an hour winds. And a mostly, what are we looking at there? Southwesterly direction, 20 degrees the ambient, 30 on track, 42% humidity, partly cloudy conditions, but it is dry. And at the back of the field, Blake Fitz and Brett Bradbury on row 6, John Simpson, Josh Millard, row 7, Mark Snow alongside Ryan Jones on row 8, but Jones hasn't taken to the grid. So just the 15 starters as we head to Ontario this evening. We'll be ready to rock and roll any tick of the clock. Single race format tonight. We're done away with the sprint rounds as far as GT3 are concerned. It's a 60-minute affair when we get to Spa. But first up, half an hour of GT3 to sink our teeth into. And of course, a fascinating fight in the championship at the moment, I should say, with Sam Muir up against Aidan Carl, and Sam in a little bit of trouble trying to retain his title. Off and away. Beautiful start down there on the inside. Who was that? Andrew Dyson on a contact to go. Alex Court's had a big one. In the wall and done on the opening lap. Dyson's gone as well. Two cars. Second row on the grid, they're locked on at one. Holy smoke. They're going to have to try and limp it back to pit lane. Speaking of limping it back to pit lane, I'm getting a false reading on the Ryan Jones entry, actually, out there on the circuit now. So we'll see what that's all about at the moment. Alex Court to pit lane. Sam Stride making a good start up to 4th. Robert McGrath to 5th. David Baz, Dale Sharp, 6th, 7th. Then Eduardo Zamora, Blake Fitz and Brett Bradbury. There are, I'm happy to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, 4 manufacturers out there this evening. 3 of them, actually no, all 4 now in the top 10. Aston Martin's 1 and 3. Mercedes 2, 4, 5, 8 and 9. BMW 6 and 7. Porsche and Brett Bradbury 10. No McLarens tonight. What a start, Adam Lavis. Good evening to you. Thankfully, the championship combatants kept it clean.
They did, but they were very in close quarters, and Muir was finally in a spot where he can try and get his the monkey off his back for the season, get that win. So if you get a one round earlier than last season, but Aidan is not going to make it easy for him, and this is going to be a good slog around here. It's a really good track for racing.
Wow. Aidan Carl's advantage coming into this round was 29 points, folks. 366 played, 337, 281 for Andrew Dyson, and 257 for Jordan Malcolm, and 255 for Alex Court. So Alex Court didn't need that. Andrew Dyson didn't need that, but that is advantage Jordan Malcolm. Of that, there is no doubt. And I need to highlight it. Off the top, we said it a few moments ago. Good move there on the inside. Brett Bradbury hustled and bustled, then muscled out of it again. Was trying to get by Eduardo Zamora. Now we'll have the inside run down the back straight, but that's been covered off by Zamora. We're right on board with John Simpson in the Flash Graphics entry. Simpson up 2 spots already. In fact, most of it is +2, +1, +3, folks, except Andrew Dyson -10. Alex Court parked up and done. Ryan Jones, I still don't know what the hell's going on there, because it's showing -0.041 of a lap.
It's saying he's probably left before the green flag.
Showing in the server, but maybe no, that shows that he's on the circuit, so maybe he's had a packet loss.
I assume he's gridded and then either left the server out a packet loss while gridding.
Yeah. Alex Court gets back out there after 2 minutes 15 on pit lane. You just saw him drive us right. And we were riding on board, of course, with Eduardo Zamora, Brett Bradbury and John Simpson at the time. Sam Strider, terrific start for the Alpha Racing team. Aston Mercedes, big gap. Kale back to Malcolm, 2.7 seconds already. Malcolm minding his own business. Stride, McGrath, as sharp. It's always a trip up the first corner at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Oh. Can we have another look at that? Can we go on board with Andrew Dyson, please, Adam Lavis? And then we need to come back and cover off the fact that Eduardo Zamora and Dale Sharp have just plummeted down the order as well. Yeah, okay. Dyson had nowhere to go. He was pretty much up against the wall, wasn't he? Be interesting to see what race control has to say about that one. Dale Sharp, all on his own. Sacrificial lamb, Eduardo Zamora on the outside. Caught as well. Oh, geez, his night goes from bad to worse, doesn't it? Sums up the weekend. Platforms, the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Happy to report too, ladies and gentlemen. Big thanks to Stridey and Dan Yeoman for deputising for Joe Baldwin and I on Friday night. But happy to report we're here 4 nights this week. Banksy's heading off to the other side of the world. So I'm in with Dan Yeoman on Wednesday night. I'm here Thursday night. I'm here Friday night. Next week, I'm here for all those 4 and maybe Tuesday as well. So you've got a smorgasbord of me, and apologies in advance for that. Over the course of the next 2 weeks. Samuel, fastest of the race, 122.653. Aiden Carl, Jordan Malcolm, Sam Stride, Robert McGrath, David Baz, Blake Fitz, Brett Bradbury, John Simpson, Josh Millard, top 10. +4 for Fitz, Bradbury, Simpson, Millard and Snow, the biggest movers of the night so far. Disappointment for Alex Court, down a lap already. That's a long road back from there. Andrew Dyson also 42 seconds down on the leader and 24 down on the next placed Dale Sharp, 14th and 13th respectively. So it's a long road back from there for those 2, and possibly, Adam, I'll need to stop again. So that extra invoice adds further insult to injury and gives Jordan Malcolm a clear shot at taking 3rd outright in the points race tonight. Noting that, of course, as we said earlier, Dyson doesn't have a drop round to fall back on. And Cordy does have 31 points to fall back on. That might help him, but it won't help him in the sense that he's already 2 points behind Jordan Malcolm. So this is a big, big moment, a defining moment in the championship fight.
Indeed, yes. That's the one sort of in Cordy's sort of glass half empty, glass half full situation. The fact that we haven't got that many guys here means he can still possibly, at the moment, he's still already on 11 points for 15th, so no, 22 points because it's regular. So, but anyone else who has moments, you'll sort of possibly get a couple of 2 points here, 2 points there. So his best bet now is sort of try and get a groove and try and go fast, slap him to another point, and just hope some other people fall off the track in front of him.
Indeed. Good move. Mark Snow, 11th. Fending off Eduardo Zamora. Dale Sharp in there as well. Sharpie will be looking to make a move shortly, but he's got 3 seconds to try and latch back onto those blokes right now. And we know it's far easier to work as a combination rather than work as a single individual, especially around here at Canadian Tire. Field evenly spread out in the early stages. It's lap 5 done. Lap 6 is upon us. And there is Sam Muir setting the fastest lap of the race. 122.388. 7 minutes gone. 122 a lap. So, again, if we're going to do the mathematics of the situation here, folks, we're going to round it back to 1:20. We're going to say it's 3 laps, 4 minutes, but a bit of carryover time. So you're looking at 21 laps in 28 minutes. 29 pit transit. So what are we saying? 22 laps potentially tonight here at Canadian Tire. Oh, trouble. Wow. Car parked middle of the road, John Simpson. Now, how has that happened? More to the point. Bang. Oh, that's how it's happened. Crunch. Holy cow.
That's a banana peel and there's a whiplash.
And that is so easily done at that part of the circuit, in any car, in any category. It is one of the notorious trip-up points of this Canadian venue. Great to have the championship back in Canada. of course, throughout the course of this term, we've gone to Italy, the United States, Scotland, America twice. Actually make it 3 times and make it 4 next week with Watkins Glen Cup hosting the Enduro. So what's that? That's 3 different countries. Portugal makes 4, Belgium makes 5. We had another round in Great Britain, in the United Kingdom, in England. So that's, I mean, if you want to count Great Britain, Knockhill and Donington as one country, or if you want to break it up, England and Scotland, that's good too. And now tonight, Canada, the last of the stops there. So Italy, America, Scotland, United Kingdom, United States, Portugal, Belgium. This is the 8th different country, Canada. No, I've already counted Canada, my apologies. 7th different country on the tour. And the last one at that. Back to the United States next week. Back straight. Sammy Muir's got the lead. He's got Aidan Cale for company, though. Cale's got the fastest lap of the race, 1:22.149. Is this going to be a race decided on pit stops? Or will it be an on-track move? We wait and see. They remain pole and second. There was a lot of conjecture about Charlotte Roval, wasn't there, Adam Lavis, about the Mercedes not necessarily being the car of choice. They felt rather hamstrung there. It feels as though it's a lot more even playing field here at Canadian Tire, based on what we're seeing Aidan Cale do here, and that is keep Sam Muir very honest.
Yeah, it's always the case with multi-car GT-style racing. There's always going to be tracks that suit certain manufacturers more than others, and just last week was seemingly, perceivably, by the drivers that the Mercedes was a little hamstrung compared to the Astons, but there was a couple of guys, I think Cordy even said he worked on a setup and got his Merc to work through the curb, so it might have just been that the default setup was no good, and you just had to figure it out. So maybe it wasn't necessarily a car problem, more of a setup issue, but, you know, it's that's the type of things these guys have to try and work out with the open setup system.
Uh-oh, trouble for Mark Snow. Trouble for Mark Snow. Off the road, has lost trail, has lost contact with the next cars in the train. Yeah, all on his own, although there might have been a little bit of assistance to finish it off, albeit inadvertently. Hard to avoid a moving target when you're that close to it. Snow drops down to 11th. Eduardo Zamora's already stopped. He stopped at the end of lap 6. Would we say, I reckon 22 laps is good hunting tonight, Adam? We've just completed 8. We're starting 9. And in comes Robert McGrath on that note, who was already up to 5th place. One more like till we can apply for YouTube partner. Oh, I like it. So get over to the GSRC YouTube page. Like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, to the platforms of Gentleman Sim Racing Club, as Dale Sharp also joins Robert McGrath on pit lane. So it would seem as though that 6, 7, 8 region is happy playing field, happy hunting ground as far as critical laps are concerned. The earliest you can stop, splash, dash, and get home. But still all eyes on Muir and Cale on how late they want to run into this race. So this is lap 9, as I say, towards the end of the 12th minute we go. It's going to be 21 or 22 laps tonight, folks. I'm just struggling to put a fine, sort of line on that. But bear with us, because we will be able to better verify that for you towards the end of the race. Muir, Cale, Malcolm, Stride, Baz, Fitz, Bradbury, Millard, Snow, and McGrath, the top 10. But that bottom 6 have all stopped. Alex Court's out of business because he's a lap down, and he's still got another stop to come. We're not sure what Andrew Dyson's going to be getting up to, but we reckon he'll have to stop again as well. We reckon Simpson, Sharp, McGrath, and Zamora should all be okay. Muir, Kale, to the back straight we go once more. That's Malcolm and Stridey. Actually, I'm very impressed. Stridey talked a good game. We do love a visit from Sam Stridey into the central commentary position, and also we don't mind having some good banter with him off air and also in our chat threads as well. Noodle hair, just like 5 vids. Surely that worked. Let's hope so. Josh will verify that for us. He's watching on from further afield this evening. Yeah, one more subscriber. Yes, we need one more subscriber. I thought that was the case, Josh. Thank you. I had you back there, mate. Don't worry. So, yeah. It's interesting because I'm very impressed with the way in which Stridey is keeping Jordan Malcolm honest. Improvement in his performance. Take nothing away from Jordan Malcolm, though. I mean, he's flying a little bit blind, having caught the red eye across from the other side of the Nullarbor overnight to be back in position in the cockpit this evening for this race. +6 for Millard and Snow so far, +5 for Bradbury and Fitz, but we know that those numbers are going to vary a little bit. Disaster for Andrew Dyson and Alex Court, that first corner incident. I haven't seen any penalties come through with regards to that one yet. Maybe it'll be viewed as a racing incident, maybe not. But Cordy will feel aggrieved considering that a podium position in the championship was firmly up for grabs had he been able to keep going, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. I mean, he's still on track for a top 5 finish. That is for sure. But, and that's only because the absence of Jake Edwards. David Baz is actually the next one he's got to be worried about. And he's only 53 points away, but given where Baz is in the running order at the moment, Cordy should not lose any to that. Like, he shouldn't lose the position tonight. He will lose part of his advantage, part of his buffer, but it won't be the full complement. Muir, Kale, Malcolm, Stride. 2 battles on the track at the moment. There's the third. David Baz and Blake Fitz, and it's Aston Mercedes in the first battle, Aston Mercedes in the second, Mercedes BMW in the third. Look at David Baz. Thank you, Josh Zuno. 15-second penalty, we're being told, for Andrew Dyson. 15-second penalty to Andrew Dyson for that lap 1 incident with Alex Court. Can't say I'm terribly surprised, considering the damage sustained and the invoice paid. Although there would have been an argument about being run out of room, but you didn't have much room to begin with, considering that you're up against the concrete wall. Down the back straight we go. David Baz fending off Blake Fitz. Brett Bradbury and Josh Millard, 7th and 8th. Stay with us after this, folks. We're taking you to Spa GT3 action this Monday night for Race Options GT night on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. It'll be a 60-minute affair there. We're bringing you the pro split. We're looking forward to that immensely. David Baz, a top 5 for BMW. Nice to see the manufacturer flying high at the moment. Robert McGrath's rejoined the circuit in 9th after his job. Andrew Dyson is still 10th. Eduardo Zamora, Dale Sharp, and then John Simpson and Mark Snow. See what I did there? No, Mark's pit stop was 11.1 seconds, and that seems to be the general consensus. So 18 seconds for Robert McGrath was a fairly lengthy stop, actually. So I'm just wondering what that is all about and how that might impact his run home with regards to finishing position, because he's probably just gifted some members of the field that he was racing with at the time about 6 or 7 seconds, remembering that he was as high as 5th at one point. Lap 13. Oh, no. Off goes Snow. Taking to the gravel. Off goes Millard as well at the same time. So 2 off-track alerts. You've seen the Snow incident. Hopefully we'll show you the Millard one for Summit Sim Sport. This will be a combination of grass and gravel. There's the gravel, there's the grass, there's the bitumen. Oh, he did well. He did well, didn't he?
Yeah, it was more just an over-ambitious entry in turn 2 is what it was.
He did well, actually, to not end up a complete passenger there. I hope I'm not speaking out of place here, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, but I want you to put I'll tell you why later, with the heads up from Josh Zuno as well. Put July 2 in your diary. Put July 2 in your diary. Jordan Malcolm and Blake Fitz to pit lane. Jordan Malcolm and Blake Fitz to pit lane. So the first of the lead contingent have made their way down pit road. Sam Stride now moves up into third, David Baz fourth, Brett Bradbury fifth, but we wait for the pit lane sequence, the transit to play out and the field to be cleansed. Put also July 7 in your diary. So July 2 and July 7. July 7, of course, being the start of Term 3 of the 2025 racing season on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Got a special treat for you on the 2nd of July, however, more on that a little bit later. I figured we may as well start promoting it now because it's only about 3 weeks away. 3.5. Through they go, Aiden Carr, 515. Keeping Sam Muir honest. Is he just patiently playing the game and waiting there? But to do that, oh, jeez, did you see the correction on the wheel then? Big snap. He absolutely must hit his markers on pit road and must nail it. To beat Sam Muir, the GT4 champion, maybe outgoing GT4 champion in his own game, you've got to pull out all stops and you've got to do it to perfection. Next week, extra points on the line at Watkins Glen, Adam?
Yeah, enduro points.
Yeah. So what does that mean in relation to what's available tonight?
So tonight is registered normal single race. So it's 60 points for first, and then 6 point increments for the podium. 4 points from third to fourth, and then 3 for everyone else. And that increases up to 9, 9, 9, 6, and 3.
For next week.
Yeah.
And it'll be 90 for the win, yeah.
Yeah, so that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so 90 for the win, and then 9, 9, 9, 9, 6, 3. And then tonight's 60 for the win, 6, 6, 4, 2.
And I'm just looking here, like if Aiden Carl does trip up next week, he's got 46 points there in the bank that'll just be applied anyway. And they're both in, on cue. There we go. Right on cue to pit lane. Sam Muir and Aiden Cale. Wowee. Down pit road they come. So too Sam Stride. Lap 15, the critical number. We're at the end of the 21st minute of play. What did I say? 3 laps every 4 minutes or thereabouts.
Any other big...
So whatever happens here, we're going to go into overtime, and we will go most likely 22 laps. There we go. Way on the exit of pit lane, a slightly quicker stop. It was only half a second. It's enough to yield and warrant Aiden Cale to lead the field out of pit lane. A lead change off pit road. How many times have we seen it in Waste Options GT4? Aiden Cale leads Sam Muir. Could mathematically put one hand on the championship tonight. Defining moment. Extraordinary. Jordan Malcolm, Sam Stride, David Baz, Blake Fitz and Brett Bradbury the top 7. Robert McGrath, Andrew Dyson, Eduardo Zamora the top 10. Dale Sharp, Josh Millard, John Simpson, Alex Court. Mark Snow is now showing a lap down as well. Cordy will go back a lap down with the second pit lane transit. Not sure what happened there to Snow, quite frankly, for him to drop behind Court. Well, there's obviously been an incident, but there's nothing showing in... Oh, okay, a second spin. Yeah, right. But there's nothing showing by way of a second run down pit lane or anything like that. John Simpson, Josh Millard. The 2 Flash Graphics Summit SimSport entries to the back straight again. The off-track alerts are being lit up tonight. Oh, Millard was wide. That's what allowed Simpson through. Millard had a big tank slapper. You saw the car twitch and jag, and it wanted to send him left off onto the grass. He managed to yank it back in the right direction and keep it on the bitumen, but not before John Simpson was able to find his way by. David Baz sits fifth at the moment. Still, clean run for him. Blake Fitz is sixth. Brett Bradbury, Robert McGrath, Andrew Dyson back to ninth, but we still expect him to pay pit lane a second visit. Robert McGrath lights up the off-track alert, but he's okay. He's got away with it. He's got Andrew Dyson and Eduardo Zamora for company, though. So once Dyson removes himself from that battle by going down the lane again, it'll be on between McGrath and Zamora, the two internationals in the field, in the two Mercs for position number 8. There they are. Kale leads by half a second. Demure, half a second the difference in their pit lane time as well on lap 15. We're on lap 18 now. We're going an extra 5 laps here, folks. Strap in, buckle up, hold on tight. So, what did I say off the opener? 22 laps? Nailed it. Happy with that. Oh, jeez. Blake Fitz backs out of it. David Fitz covers it off. David Baz covers it off. That's Baz v Fitz for positions 5 and 6. The car behind them is that of Alex Court, but he has no skin in this game. He's just now going around to bag the championship points in what will be position number 15 for the moment. But what works in Alex's favour is they're slowly catching Mark Snow. There's Snow coming into your view in just a moment. He'll be just up the road here, round the corner. There he is. There's the other pack of cars that are chasing them. Andrew Dyson has paid pit lane a second visit. He comes out behind John Simpson and Dale Sharp and Eduardo Zamora, and ahead of Josh Millard. But this is interesting because that's the difference between Snow and Court. It's not much. It's about 3.3 seconds. And if Cordy can tap or latch on rather than the back here. Oh, David Baz and Blake Fitz to the end of the back straight. And Cordy's got the best seat in their house watching this go ahead. Oh, wow. Baz was forced wide, I reckon. They've somehow got away with it onto the main straight. Still 2 by 2 they go. Alex Court does not need to get involved in this, but he also doesn't want to get inadvertently involved, caught up as an innocent bystander. David Baz still holds Blake Fitz at bay. No one willing to lift, no one willing to relent, no one willing to yield. And we almost had ourselves a ding-dong. Baz holds Fitz off for the moment. But they'll set up and go again. The difference between Snow and Court is now 3.2 seconds off. There it is, done. Snow's put himself off the road again. The Merc doing caution things and not for the first time tonight. Court goes through to 14th. You've just got to stay in the game, don't you? 3:30 left on the clock now. Back straight. Josh Millard now showing off the road. What about this? Blake Fitz around the outside, couldn't get by David Baz. They went side by side through there last time round. I reckon there was door-to-door contact because of how... Oh, there is definitely contact now. There goes David Baz, gone. Blake Fitz will go through. Will there be? Yes, there will be. I think there's going to be a redress here. Alex Court goes through on Blake Fitz. Watch this. Down the inside. Bang. We need to probably have a look at it from on board with Fitz if we can, please, Adam Lavis.
Well, there was plenty of evidence on both cars.
Bang. Oh, there has been no redress yet. So Fitz is still 6.3 seconds ahead of Baz at the moment. Race control's got a little bit of overtime to do. 2:17 left on the clock. They'll come to the white flag, not this time by, next time by, folks. 2 laps to go. We're going 22. As I said, 21 in about 28 minutes. With the pit lane transit, then carry the 2s or 3s off the lap times. You're going to get yourself closer to 29, and then we're going to start that final lap around about the 29.5-minute mark. So, Aiden Kale will lead us home. It's half a second still to Muir. Importantly, Muir has not lost contact with Kale. He's still within striking distance. He's still within reach. He can see the potential for a race win, but it's not in his grasp yet. It was until a magnificent run down pit lane from Aiden Kale to snatch it off pit road, literally on the exit, and lead us down the back straight for the penultimate time. Through they go. The final laps. White flag in the air. Aiden Kale leads Sam Muir. Will it still be that way in a lap's time? Let's go. To put one hand on the championship fight. To potentially set it up for Orbit Drop Air to sweep Monday Night Motorsport in Term 2 of 2025. This historic 21st season for the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This has been an awesome race between this pair. And it's going to go down to the very final corners. Sam Muir is still right there with Aiden Kale. Kale not able to break clear. Is this a case of Kale tucking in and consolidating? Or will there be a little bit of a sting in the tail here at the end of the day? And if you're Muir, do you apply a philosophy of win it or bin it, or do you play the safe game? Oh no, he's put the car out of the draft and put it down the inside. He's stuck the nose down just to let Aiden Kale know that he's there, but he won't be able to have a crack. It won't be enough. It will be victory for Aiden Kale. You would think, oh no, Muir tried to get down the inside on the final corner. At the line, on the run of the line, couldn't get it. Wow, that erupted quickly, didn't it? Aiden Kale wins at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. I was trying to work out whether how Muir wanted to play that, whether it was that he needed to win this or whether he was able to consolidate back the points and then hope for something to fall foul for Kale next week and him come through and clean up the pieces. But you just feel as though that's an important moment. The fact that Kale has been able to get that extra 6 points here. Baz and Bradbury. Bradbury's going to pit Baz at the line. He's out of fuel. Fitz finished 9 seconds up the road. I haven't seen if there's a penalty coming his way or not yet. I would imagine so. But David Baz has come home 7th. As Brett Bradbury picks him at the line. That's a magnificent run for the Porsche. The best placed Porsche tonight. Mark Snow is having a night to forget. Alex Court comes home 14th. Snow in 15th, 2 laps down. You are kidding me. David Baz. Yep, coughing and spluttering. And you just imagine... Well, it sounded like a couple of things. It sounded as though he couldn't engage a gear. It also sounded like a bit of cough and splutter on the fuel front at him.
You know, that's the sound it makes. It just as it tries to find some fuel for the intake. It coughs and splutters, and Baz was able to do a Bradbury of his own and sneak his position.
Extraordinary. There they are, folks. The 15 finishes in all of that, and then on starter of Ryan Jones. Aiden Kale from Sam Muir, winning margin 0.17 of a second. How tight can it be? My goodness. At one point there, it didn't look like Muir was going to be able to launch an attack or mount a challenge, but he did. Again, I'm going to hear from these guys in just a moment, but from a commentary standpoint, I was trying to make sense of it, and I don't think I did a very good job of it, and I do apologise for that. The sense that we were trying to work out who was going to do what there and how Muir wanted to play it, because really the ball was in his court. He needed to make the play with a view to the deficit, and then of course next week. But now he's probably hoping for something of a small fortune to fall into his lap, with Aidan Cale now very much out beyond 30 points ahead in the championship fight. It was Cale from Muir, Malcolm Stride, a good run to fourth, Blake Fitz, Brett Bradbury, David Baz, Eduardo Zamora, Robert McGrath and Dale Sharp, the top 10, 2 Bimmers, 5 Mercedes, Porsche and 2 Astons in the top 10. Exactly the way as it started, but obviously in different numerical order. A few different movers and shakers appearing in the top 10. Of note, Blake Fitz up 6 spots, but that's provisional. We think he might be getting a whack on the knuckles. Brett Bradbury up 6 spots would therefore be the biggest mover of the night if that is the case. John Simpson was 11th. Andrew Dyson recovered to finish on the lead lap remarkably. Josh Millard and Alex Court as well. Well, there you go. Jordan Malcolm, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to go 3, 2, and 1 here. Aidan, hang tight. We're coming to you very shortly. Let's hear from the 1-9 boys firstly. Not bad for limited prep on the back of the red eye on the West Coast last night. They flight home from across the other side of the continent over the Nullarbor, mate. Well done. 3rd place. Good result. And with the misfortune that's fallen upon Andrew Dyson and Alex Court, 3rd in this championship fight is well and truly still a possibility for you, mate. Well done.
Yeah, 100%. Very limited prep. Just slept most of the day trying to catch up on that precious sleep, and had very few laps to practice today. So I knew it was going to be a tough race, but the racing gods were in my favour, and it was a manage the pace to the end because I was a bit mistake prone, not getting the practice in.
Talk me through the challenges, mate, because again, I mean, some guys take this like a duck to water. They, there's just some circuits that they know like the back of their hand, right? And it doesn't matter how much time between drinks. It can be limited time in terms of getting back out there, bum in seat, just in terms of that hand-eye coordination, that sense of knowing the circuit again, that brain training that goes on. What's the process for you? Are you one of those people that relies on the practice, or are there some tracks that you can just pick up with, for lack of better words, the click of a finger? I know it's not a click of a finger, but some tracks no doubt would be easier than others. I guess the added challenge for you here was normally we're used to seeing you in a Porsche or even a Merc around here, not an Aston Martin.
Yeah, correct. For me, any combo, I'm like there or thereabouts, but it'll be like within a second or so. But to go up to the pointy end, then I do need the laps throughout the week to, just muscle memory perfect it. And just by naturally doing laps, you break just that little bit earlier. You have that confidence every time round. So just didn't have that tonight. But yeah, I guess each driver will have their favorite tracks as well, which they can just pick up no matter the car, and also carry it to the front.
Indeed. Next week, Watkins Glen. How much prep time are you going to have for that one? Is it going to be a little bit more? More championship points are up for grabs next week. It's a longer race. Where's the mindset? What's the plan of attack?
I'm not sure what the championship's looking like, but we'll go into Watkins Glen. I'll try and wrap up 3rd, and I'll do what I can to help Sam. I think it's a bit of a long shot now after finishing 2nd behind Aidan today, but we'll do some laps throughout the week, try and be as fast as possible in preparation for Monday night.
All right, very nicely done. As far as this race was concerned, our mates from Race Control and from the GSRC committee, Sally Stride, he gave you a run for your money, kept you fairly honest for most of it.
Yeah, he did. Helps being the the series organizer, so he can probably pick the tracks on the schedule that he likes the most. So yeah, he had a good run tonight. It might be one of his favourites.
I must pass on that feedback and that thought process and get his views on that going into to next week. Obviously, when you get to Watkins Glen, mate, it's the short shoot, not the long version of the circuit. The outer boot is not part of the equation next week. Does that make the process easier for you?
No, just make it more like an oval and more of a chance to not be in first, because I reckon fuel saving is just going to be a massive advantage in that case.
We mentioned earlier, I mean, obviously, Canadian Tire, it's a very well-supported circuit, more times than not. It's one that we usually like coming to. For you, was that a good thing, knowing that it was Motorsport this afternoon and not necessarily a circuit that you're not overly familiar with, or one that you would have been flying blind on, like, say, the Bend in a couple of weeks' time? Did that work for you, that it was a circuit that you have experience on?
Yeah, definitely. I could jump in and I knew what times they were thereabouts, and also had Sam's laps there for reference. So I knew it wasn't quite his pace, but if I was about half a second off, I would have been happy enough to run at that pace.
And is it a circuit that you like?
It's not too bad. I haven't gone particularly well here, but I do enjoy the racing around here when it gets a lot of numbers.
You had a bird's eye seat, box office prime position for the Turn 1 incident between Andrew Dyson and Alex Court. What was going through your mind?
I immediately went into fuel save mode because I knew it was going to be one of those races where I was going to struggle for pace, and then I saw that happen. I was like, yep, the racing gods are looking down on me today. That was a free gift. Just unfortunate. I lost Sam and Aiden, but I don't think it mattered in the end.
In saying that, mate, it actually worked out very nicely for you, in the sense that was you going from 5th to 3rd, +2, first corner, and that was the only move you needed to make all night. So it made the assignment a lot easier for you. What's next as far as the racing's concerned, or is it literally next Monday for GT4?
I think it might be next Monday. Got a little bit of real world stuff to deal with, but we'll hop on most nights, do some Watkins Glen laps, and yeah, we'll be there next Monday night.
All right, we're looking forward to that immensely. Next term, there's a lot of chatter at the moment. Obviously, we're looking at the low numbers on the grids here for GT4. It would be disappointing to see it disappear from the schedule or from the time slot as the entree to GT3, mate. But if you were to have a vote on what you would like to have a steer of in its place in this slot, what would it be?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of good series out there. I'm not too sure, if I'm being honest. I might have to go through the list, see what there is. But no, I prefer GT4 racing. It's my favourite series. So my vote is I hope it stays. But if not, it might be a pick and choose situation.
All right. I like the idea of that. We might revisit that topic this time next week, mate. Thanks for stopping in and having a chat to us. You've been good with your time as always. Go and get some sleep. You've earned it. And we'll catch up. If not before, we'll definitely catch up next Monday night. Go well.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's going to be very interesting, that championship fight now, especially with the not-so-good finish for Alex Court and Andrew Dyson tonight. Have a look at that. Have a look at that. So it's 30 points. It's an even 30. Aidan Carl to Sam Muir. It was 29 going into the night, wasn't it? So there you go. Let's have a look at the breakdown of that before we hear from Sam. It's the pole position bonus point. It's the zero incident point bonus as well. That's where this title fight gets really, really interesting, because, as you know, folks, next week when it's enduro points, it's also, that also impacts the amount of points that are applied for the bonuses. So most positions gained, fastest lap, etc., etc. No, Aiden got the fastest lap tonight as well. So there's the bonus point for him. 62 played 61. And as we saw there, Andrew Dyson down 29 points for him, 49 for Jordan Malcolm, and Alex Court 25. It gets interesting because Alex is now 20 behind Jordan, who's only 4 behind Andrew. So game on for that third place in the championship between Dyson and Malcolm. We've got 2 definitive battles to keep an eye on next Monday night here live local exclusive and free to the platforms. The Gentleman Sim Racing Club, 7:25 Eastern Standard Time, and a 45-minute run around the Watkins Glen International Circuit. The short shoot, the NASCAR configuration. We are so excited for our first grand final affair, and it will be 3/4 of an hour. There'll be 2 compulsory pit stops. It will be a must-watch compulsory appointment viewing before we get into 90 minutes of the GT3 from the Green Hell. Sam Muir, your analysis of all of that, because the defining moment actually happened on pit lane. Aiden was able to pip you there and then hold you off. However, you went down swinging, mate. You left nothing on the table. We were trying to work out who was going to prevail in that final lap. I wasn't sure who was going to play the safe game, who was going to play the dangerous game, because if anything, Aiden was in the right position. He was exactly where he needed to be. The onus was on you. If you wanted to make a play, win it or bin it, or consolidate and think bigger picture and think that there is still a chance to win this thing next week. What was going through your mind on that final lap, mate? Because there were 2 distinct looks and attempts to try and get your way by, but unfortunately for you, to no avail. 0.17. It's a hell of a tight margin in GT4 language.
Yeah, cheers, Zach. It's obviously disappointing to come away with the P2, but you know, it's not that bad when you have a nice battle like that. Been wanting a piece of that action all season, to be honest. We've finished behind each other plenty of times on the track, but usually Aiden's about 5-10 seconds up the road by the time the checkered flag drops, so it was good to actually, have a nice battle out on track. And yeah, for that final stint, coming into pit lane, I thought Aiden was probably doing a bit of fuel saving, and so I put 1 litre less in the tank just to give myself a bit of a chance, and then had to obviously sit behind him fuel saving myself a little bit, just conserving enough to just, go at it on that last lap. And as you said, with the championship points the way that they are, there was no point really consolidating P2. We really needed a win tonight, so went for a little bit of a move there towards the end, but it's one of those tracks where it's really, really hard to overtake. So disappointed with P2, but full credit to Aiden. He did not make a mistake that race, at least from my vantage point. A well-deserved win and a great battle.
How lucky you guys were that the drama on the opening lap was right behind you as well.
Yeah, exactly. Had a just saw a white flash in the mirror. I thought, oops, someone's made a bit of a mistake there. So that was really unfortunate for Cordy. He's been doing a ripper job this season. I know he just missed out on the podium, I think, the last couple of seasons in GT4. So good for my teammate, obviously Geordie, and we'll do whatever we can next week to help Geordie get into the podium. But that's going to be an awesome battle for next week.
It's going to be hard too, because at the same time you've got to focus on your own race against Aiden.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll definitely make him earn it. That's for sure. We'll show up, and if we have to give the number 1 away, then so be it. And full credit to Aiden this season. He's driven an absolutely fantastic campaign. Been very solid everywhere. Had just awesome pace, awesome racecraft. It's it's been both pleasing and frustrating to have some competition like him out on the track. So yeah, all the best to him next week, and we'll do everything that we can to walk away with the W. We've won the last couple of round 10s in the season, so hopefully we can walk away with a win next week. It probably won't be enough to actually clinch the championship, but still plenty to play for.
Title number 6 is at stake. And then the uncertain future of GT4 is also worth picking your brain in regards to, because at the end of the day, this has been where you've applied your trade and done so very remarkably well. I mean, look at this season. We were talking last season about the run of podiums. This season's not as good as that. I mean, 10 from 10, and nothing's going to eclipse that in a 10-round season, but 2 fifths, 2 thirds, 4 seconds. The one blip in the road was a DNF. That's really unlike you, of course. But next week, anything can happen. It is Watkins Glen. We've seen incidents play out there before, but it's particularly easy to get caught up in somebody else's garbage. Unfortunately, it's that sort of circuit, especially on the NASCAR configuration, mate. If you can't win title number 6, though, where do you go and ply your trade next if GT4's not there on the schedule for you to try and seek redemption, I should say, in Term 3?
Yeah, good question. I mean, obviously, hoping like hell that it manages to find a spot on the schedule somewhere for next season. But yeah, if it's time for it to have a break, then so be it. I'm starting to get a itchy feet with the Porsche Cup. I've been out of that for a couple of seasons now, so would be awesome to jump back into there. We might even jump back into it this week. Hesitant to jump into other series this late in the campaign because you don't want to obviously affect anyone's championship, but I think it's at Bathurst this week, and that might be too good to resist. So if GT4 is not on the schedule, then we'll jump back in the Cup car and give that a whirl.
And just
all right, mate.
Just another thing too,
Adam.
You and Jordan might want to lead the spruiking for GT4 over the next week, because if you can get some more numbers in here, it's actually not as far off as you think. Like if you excluding bonus points for qualifying, fast and everything, just race points wise, if you win and Aiden gets 6th, you tie on points.
Oh.
Still telling me there's still a chance.
There is. There's still a chance.
There's still hope.
But as I said, you might want to get some more numbers in here to make that put the chances more in your favour. Because obviously, for Aiden to get 6th, you need cars on track for Aiden to fall behind.
Spot on. I mean, you think about round 1 and round 2. I was so excited coming into this season. We had like close to 30 cars, and the soft was unreal. It was almost like 4K soft, so it was like a GT3 Pro thing. I thought that maybe people were logging into the wrong server. So, hopefully we can get the boys back. Watkins Glen's a pretty popular track as well. So, yeah, I'll put the call out right now to all the GSRC lads. Come out next week. Have a trundle around Watkins Glen. It's going to be a belter.
Indeed. All right. Now, last one for you. What was going through your mind on pit lane? Because we've seen that has proven to be, unfortunately, your Achilles heel in the past, and Aiden's managed to pip you again.
Yeah, I thought that was going to happen. I thought he was just sitting back there.
At least you're honest about it.
Yeah, I could see it happening a mile away, but yeah, still tried to underfuel myself just to give myself a bit of a chance. I did cop a speeding penalty the last time we were here in GSRC GT4, so I had that on my mind as well. I was probably a little bit too conservative coming into the lane, but again, just full credit to Aiden. He just did not make a mistake, hit his marks, got his numbers all right, and got a well-deserved win. So yeah, kudos to him.
All right, mate. Well done. Again, right there in the in title contention, in the thick of it, when the whips are cracking. We expected nothing less. I know the Aston Martin's been a unique sort of challenge for you. It maybe hasn't always been the best car in the field, but you've managed to get some great results out of it. So look forward to seeing what you bring to the table next week. And I'm sure in one way, shape or form, be it first or second in the championship, we'll be talking to you next Monday night. So enjoy the preparation, enjoy the lead-in time, and go well.
Will do, Zach. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
And Aiden Kale, let's rack up your statistics for the season, please. Second in round 1, 4th in round 2, a win in round 3, 5, 7, and now 9, along with a second in round 8 and in round 6. And unfortunately, the DNF at Coda. So both you and Sam Muir have had one blip in the road. We've already highlighted the differences between his ability to rack up the bonus points and your inability to do so. So we've got a 30-point buffer for you to play with going into next week. Another important win tonight, a huge box ticked. And I think Sam summed it up best. And I mentioned it in commentary that it would have to be a faultless performance from you. And it just about was, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. I absolutely hate this track with every fibre of my being. So the fact that I actually had pace was a bit of a shocker there in qualifying. But nah, I mean, full credit to Sam. His pace was, on point as it always is. I think I was lacking a little bit in the preparation side of things, but I knew it wasn't going to be a strong round. And I'm not looking forward to next week.
So, all right. So this is Adam Lavis will know where I'm going with this. This is screaming, Brenton Hobson type vibes, Adam, right? A driver comes in here, says, I don't like the circuit, I hate it, etc., not very good there or whatever, and still goes out and ticks the box and gets the W. You drivers are good at that, I must say. However, do you put that more down to just perseverance on your part, knowing that you had no choice but to rock up tonight because of the championship situation? Or do you put it down to just how good that Mercedes has been for the Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport entry this season, or both?
Well, with the lack of preparation, it was a bit tricky to see where I kind of was. I think it was more actually knowing that I wasn't exactly incredible at this track was definitely, definitely wasn't. I wouldn't say excited. I always get excited for these GT4 races, but I wasn't exactly. Can't find the word. Wasn't all too hyped about it, and knew that I kind of just had to rock up and consolidate any single championship point that I could get. Because as you know, I've done V8 racing around here, and I'm just so far off the pace, and it was it's been a struggle. So to have some pace here was actually pretty good.
Just excuse me, mate. I'm just clearing my throat in the background here at the moment. So let's talk about the key defining moment of the race, mate. I don't like seeing races won on pit lane, but, I mean, we're all there for the overtaking move, the big moment on track. But as Sammy said, you absolutely nailed the transit, and the reward was half a second less in the box, and then out in front, I should say, being able to pip him on the exit of pit lane. Talk us through what was going through the mind there, because once you had the nose in front, the onus was on him, I should say, to then return serve. He gave it everything he could. He just wasn't able to pull it off.
Well, see, my problem with practice is I need to try and practice my pit lane entries, and I always have it in my mind that I need to do so, never do. So I kind of realised halfway through the first stint that I hadn't done any pit lane practice, didn't know the pit speed, didn't know where the cones were, so that's all down to me there. But I was very surprised when I saw myself overtake him in the pit lane. I mean, I was saving fuel, and that was the aim for the first half of the race. There's no real point kind of slowing us both up and backing myself into Jordan. But yeah, it was really just about just trying not to get any pit speeding penalties, and that it's been my weakness all season, so to actually pull it off today, I was a bit stunned.
Were you expecting Sammy to leave the lunge, leave the dive as late as he did? I mean, we were sitting here wondering whether he was just going to sit in, tuck in behind and follow, but then knowing the championship situation, we thought that would be a bit strange if he did, and then all of a sudden it gets 2 quarters from home and he's right there nipping at your heels. How were the nerves?
They were pretty contained, if I'm being honest. I've raced Sammy plenty of times, even outside of GSRC, and he's always very respectable, but he's going to race me hard, and I knew that. So I knew he was going to chuck it up the inside. The Aston was very quick around that second to last corner, all race long, and I knew he'd have a run and go for it. So I kind of kept myself calm, looked in the mirror, and just made sure that I got the exit out of the final corner correctly.
And you certainly did that, mate. And it sets up a tantalising affair next week. Adam's already delivered the equation. First for him and 6th for you, and you tick the box. It's good enough before, I guess, you look at bonuses and everything else. So for safety purposes, no doubt a championship is winnable, and your safety net would be a podium finish in the championship decider. But you've already highlighted that you're not looking forward to next week. Is that because of the circuit, or because of the driver's disdain for it, or a combination of both? Or are you not sure whether the Mercedes or the Aston is going to be the better car there?
Well, I dislike Motorsport, so I dislike this track here. And then there's like the Sochi Autodrome in Formula 1, and then there's Watkins Glen for me. So that's about that's how excited I'm looking forward to next week. And I've already done officials in GT4 around there a couple months back, and the Mercedes was let's just say it wasn't exactly that, and my skill was not exactly where I'd like it to be. So if I can get through this week racing at the Bend and not think about Watkins Glen at all until about Saturday, Sunday, then I think I'll be pretty chuffed.
I was going to say, you just mentioned the key words, racing at the Bend. Now, is that because iRacing are dropping it this week Is that what's going on? Have I missed a memo here?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, it could be Tuesday night for us,
Ooh,
maybe
okay.
Wednesday. I'm not sure. I do live under a rock, so it could
Me too.
be. It could very well be the week after. So we'll see. I'll be sitting there hoping on Tuesday night that it comes out.
Mate, I live in Queensland, so I spend 6 months of the year living 112 years behind rest of the country and progressive civilization. In fact, we didn't even have a long weekend this weekend. That's how good we're going up here. So that's why I'm occasionally out of the loop. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Aiden, well done, mate. Great result. Good luck in the officials this week. Ben is out Tuesday is the memo that we're getting there in the YouTube comments. Thank you. Drift Oz photography, is that's not Dave Oliver, is it? I'm not sure. Tommy Wilkinson confirming that Tuesday night patch and the bench should be ready by Wednesday morning, and that is a colossal of a racetrack as well, all 7.77 kilometres of it. Aiden, well done, mate. You've got one hand on it. It's now about going out next week, ticking the box and bringing it home safely in one piece. We know the equation. It sets up a tantalising entree on grand final night to Waste Options GT night, Monday night motorsport for Term 2 of 2025. And we're looking forward to it immensely. Good luck. Go well. We'll see you next Monday night.
Awesome, thank you. Let's hope my car doesn't end up in the Waste Options bin.
I see what you did there. Good boy. Good sponsor plug. Saves me doing it. Although I will do it anyway because it's not just Waste Options, ladies and gentlemen, but there's an enormous amount of people that make it possible for us to do what we do here, including Sprayton Cider, Trophy AI, Orbic Australia, Bowen's the Builder's Choice, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. It is Waste Options Monday Night Motorsport, Waste Options GT night, Waste Options GT4 is done, Waste Options GT3 still to come. We're going to grab a break. I'm going to clear my throat. My vocals are up the creek without a paddle at the moment, up the proverbials, so I'm going to go and find a Strepsil or a lozenge or something, and we're going to come back within a couple of minutes. We're off to the Spa circuit. It's the final 60-minute outing of the season for Waste Options GT3. We're looking forward to it immensely. Hope you can stay with us. Spa GT3 Pro and Harrison Lillis with one hand on a potentially historic GT3 title for Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport. We'll go through all the yes, buts and maybes in just a few moments. Stay with us. I'm not going to lie. I'm somewhat astonished that our good mate Sam Stride drew the short straw and put his hand up to help Daniel Yeoman with commentary on Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, because by his own admission, he has a swearing problem. But it was nice to hear from the fourth place runner in Waste Options GT4 a few moments ago in the intermission. He slid into the booth to say good day, and it was as humorous as always. This is the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Monday Night Motorsport, Waste Options GT night, GT3 Pro, Spa Circuit in Belgium, and yes, we've had rain. And there's a warm-up underway at the moment to consolidate or compensate for that. Lightly wet at the moment. Zero chance of rain for the remainder of the day, though. 18 degrees the ambient temperature at the moment, 21 on track, and 59% humidity. That wind at 16 kilometres an hour is in a mostly northwesterly direction, and it's 12:24 in the afternoon. Clock will soon move up in time to, well, I would imagine somewhere in the realms of 12:40, 1 o'clock, somewhere around there. We'll see that happen in just a tick. 7 kilometres this circuit, 7.004. We're on the Spa circuit. It's a 60-minute affair, and this is the penultimate round of the season, the final 60-minute race of the campaign. Harrison Lewis, one hand on the championship at the moment, 366 plays. Lewis Greathead, 329. Jacob O'Reilly, 309. The big story is Matty Dench right there at 293. Are you kidding me? 271 for Richard Mitchum, Acura, 3 McLarens, and a Porsche in the top 5 at the moment. Blacklock, Donaldson, Chapman, Broad, Nick Wood, the only Mustang in the top 10 at this point as well. Let's have a look at the grid for this one and the track conditions as well, if we can, Adam Lavis. Sam Blacklock has taken pole position tonight. That's important to note. Acura will lead us to green. Jacob O'Reilly, Harrison Lillis, Tyson Broad, Sam Sutton, Andrew Dyson, Dane Snadden, Richard Mitchum, Sam Chapman, and Aaron Cooper, the top 10. Wowee. Outside of that, Nick Wood, Chris Island, Richard King, Chuk Fung Wong, Jared Knight, Josh Horton, Lachlan Capel, Oscar Haynes, Dylan Shepard, and Dave Riddell. 21st is David Johnson, Eli Donaldson from 22. Row 12, Alan Dawson, Bobby Camo. Row 13, Matt Schmidtke and Jeff Adams. Row 14, Daniel Piper and Sam Lauder. Row 15, Brad Coates and Daniel Emmons. Row 16, Ricky Provenzali and Harry Lawrence. Row 17, Trent Allen. I have not read the name M. Dench. The number one is not on the grid. The number one had precious little to spare to drop in the way of drop rounds, and he's going to drop a 0. I think we might have just seen M. Dench concede defeat on Title 14.
The other thing too, so it's now very lightly wet. So it was lightly wet in that warm up, so it would have been wet tyres primary. Now it's the very lightly wet, which is where it's a coin flip. Depending on where it is in the very lightly wet stage, it could be wet tyre favourable, it could be going towards dries. So there's a lot of guys on dries. In fact, I think there's only a few people at the back.
Only David Johnson, Sam Lauder, Brad Coates, Daniel Evans, and Ricky Provenzali have gone for the wets.
And given the lack of spray currently, I reckon that's probably the right choice.
Correct. And there's 33 cars in the server and only 29 taking to the track for the start here. None of these guys, Richard King, Matt Schmidtke, Harry Lawrence, or Trent Allen, showing on pit road. It's very slow out of the final corner of the bus stop, but we're racing nonetheless here. Oh, no, next corner. It's the other side. Okay, righto.
I don't know. Oh, it must be the classical endurance.
Yeah, right, okay. So it's the next pit lane. Okay.
Yeah. It's classic.
It's the old school circuit.
It's classic.
Yeah, righto.
Okay.
It's the enduro pit lane. That'll get us going for Waste Options GT3 Round 9 Monday Night Motorsport. The main course is green. Let's go from Spa in Belgium. Final 60-minute outing of the season. As you can see, it is lightly wet as they slip through Eau Rouge. There we go. Jacob O'Reilly, the first one to fall foul of the slippery, dicey conditions as they head down the Camel Straight for the first time. Blacklock leads Lawson Broad. Orbit drop down 1, 2, 3. Down the Camel Straight we go. Lillis, Broad pulled out of the draft. Went for it down the inside of Lillis. Backed out of it. 3 wide. That won't work, gentlemen. So far, we're good. For the most part, we're good. That's an exceptionally clean start. Richard King joins from the back of the field. No Trent Allen, no Matt Schmidtke, no Harry Lawrence. As far as manufacturer participation is concerned, Acura, McLaren, Porsche, Ford, BMW, Audi, and that's it. Oh dear,
So,
have a look at the slipperiness.
Yeah, it definitely looks sketchy.
Oh, trouble gone. See ya. Chuk Fung Wong on the grass. They're probably helped by the fact that the
Oh, drift work by Richard.
extra bit of bitumen has been laid down there. They got away with that, otherwise they were looking at a date with the concrete and the Armco.
Did you see Mr. Drifter Richard King in the background
did.
then?
There was a Mercedes, there was a Lambo in the server. They are not on the grid. Uh-oh, Oscar Haynes in the... Oh, no. Did well to pull it up and not impede anybody on the way through. So if they're the 10 that we've got, we haven't got a McLaren and we haven't got a Chev in this field. Oh, trouble and gone! That's a big moment for Tyson Broad. It's a trap for younger players. It was a gamble one way or the other. Is this lightly wet enough to favour the wet tyre until that first pit window? Would the reverse stride gone again? There's Dane Snadden gone. He'll slip down the order at a rapid rate of knots, and another one goes with him. Bobby Cabot, Sam Lauder. That's a big shunt. And it's not just wet weather tyre runners, it's dry weather tyre runners tripping up as well. Some parts of the circuit wetter than others. That's the observation from the opening lap. And there is Harrison Lewis bending off the Vermilion Esports entry of Jacob O'Reilly to the final corner. Through La Source, down the main straight, onto Eau Rouge we go. 2 minutes 40 on the opening lap. A tippy-toe opening lap around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. My goodness. Look at the lead that Sam Blacklock has opened up. Clear air is king on a night like this. David Johnson up 4 spots in the BMW, best of the wet weather tyre runners at the moment. Chuk Fung Wong, Bobby Camo, both to pit lane. Dane Snadden continues on despite the slip and slide. It's sketchy. Broad again gone. Broad again gone. Broad again gone. Down outside the top 20 goes Tyson Broad. It's a shocker of a start for the Orbit Drop Best Stable. And Jacob O'Reilly sends one around the outside of Harrison Lewis. Down to the bottom of the second sector. What about that?
So that tells me it's still wet enough that the go-kart line is still good. Because when it gets to a point where the slicks are really good, it's back to the racing line. But obviously the go-kart line's got some grip. That's where Jacob's found that grip and got the move done.
Around the outside at, well, turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it was turn 8. Turn 8 on this configuration, turn 9 on the other configuration. What about that?
You might just have to stick the track to corner names tonight, Zach.
I might have to do that. I should bring up the track map, shouldn't I? Oh boy, oh boy. That is a magnificent move from Jacob O'Reilly. Now he can lead the charge for Sam Blacklock, but that lead is already out to 4 seconds. What the hell? It's going, well, there's 2 things here. It's a long way back. It's a long way back from 4 seconds. As Chapo goes down on the inside for 6th. Oh, got it done on Andrew Dyson. Beautifully played. Dyson, Chris Island, Jared Knight, the next 3 through, then Nick Wood. It's interesting for mine. When you look at how this is playing out so far, 4 seconds is a long start, right? But then it's a huge gamble with regards to pit strategy here. Daniel Edmonds has been turned around, particularly for the wet weather runners, with regards to when they pull the trigger and come down pit lane. And there is the risk level is off the chart here tonight. It's a magnificent gamble. Turn 9, I should say, which was, of course, Bruelli. B-R-U-X. X is silent, I think. Bruelli. E-double-L-E-S. We're going to get some more vocabulary lessons this evening too, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see to that before too long. Have a look at this chain of cars down the back straight at the moment. And just a long string of them. And pit lane will be a sea of activity at one point or another here, but we're just not sure when. The other interesting thing for mine, Adam Lavis, is how much fuel are they saving with the lap times being about 10 up to 15, 20 seconds slower than what they normally would be. 8 minutes gone. Sorry, 6 minutes gone. Up 1/10 race distance, and we're only on lap 3. We're not even 2.5 laps into this. Richard Mitchum's tripped up. Richard Mitchum's tripped up. There he is. Driver's left. Our right. Rejoins the racetrack in 12th. And immediately on the attack, Eli Donaldson makes it 13th. Sam Chapman on the dry tyres, 232.93. 231.54 for Sam Blacklock as well, showing the purple box sector at the moment.
You would have an off-track though.
Copy.
Or possibly.
Why does it still show purple for me then?
I'm not sure. Maybe it could have been just an internet glitch on my end. I'm not sure. But on my screen, it's got a big purple box around Chepo's time. So it's got the on my screen. It's got the 23155 red. So I think he might have an off track.
Copy. Now, just remember too, folks. Whilst you're watching us tonight, your second screen needs to be on night 1 of the Australian Swimming Championships, of course, from Adelaide. The Australian Swimming Championships selection trials, the places on the team. Oh, Rd-9 up on the outside of Andrew Dyson. That's for position number 6. Yep. Dyson muscled out of that one. That's for selection for the World Championships, of course, in Singapore later in the year. Lovely part of the world, that. So go over and check that out on the wide world of sports. 9 gem in some markets, about to be 9 on the East Coast in the eastern states. So make a note of that. Down the main straight we go. Feels weird saying this is the main straight, the run down to Eau Rouge, but again, that's where we're running. The endurance configuration of the circuit, the endurance start-finish line, the endurance pit lane. Blacklock, O'Reilly, Lewis, Sutton, Chapman, and Knight, the top 6. 3 different manufacturers in the top 6, 5 in the top 10. Nick Wood in 9th, and Andrew Dyson, Chris Island, both in the Porsches. Dylan Shepherd, the only Audi runner, he's up 4 spots already in 15th. Daniel Edmonds up 14 spots already. Daniel Piper up 10 spots already. They're the big movers so far. I get 15 now for Daniel Edmonds getting on the inside of Dylan Shepherd. We're watching Andrew Dyson and Jared Knight. Still keeping an eye on them. Down to the bottom of the circuit once more. Lap 4. Oscar Haynes parked up out of business. We've already seen pit stops for Richard King. He started pit lane, actually. For Chuk Fong Wong and for Bobby Camo. Maybe they've got a second invoice coming their way. Sorry, a third invoice, because we've got 2 compulsory pit stops here tonight. And Edmonds the fastest lap of the race so far. 2:27.949. Oof. There's a lot going on out there at the moment. Oh, that was Oscar Haynes' moment on replay. Oh, he did well in the sense that, yes, it ruined his night, but for him to go left and not back into the line of traffic like that for Dane Snadden, geez, how well did they do to miss him there? That was the secondary incident behind that, of course.
I think Dane's life flashed for his eyes as he's trying to rejoin.
I think so. So, early trip-ups, early moments, early tank slappers, and early shunts. That was Tyson Broad. Blacklock, O'Reilly, Lillis top 3, and without Dench here, Lillis has one hand on the title, but he's got to be mindful of O'Reilly. And also, it's important to note, Adam Lavish, you might want to elaborate on this, please. Where's Lewis Greathead?
I'm not sure. He's actually later, right? He's a ship. Yeah, that one missing. I'm not sure.
Okay. We've had a few drivers serve a week in the naughty corner, and I was wondering if that might have been an issue. Not to be. Andrew Dyson back down the inside of Jared Knight. It's a fascinating scrap that continues. Porsche versus BMW. 90 around the outside, back down the inside. The over and under, the up and under. Magnificent. And it's still going. Dyson back down the inside again.
Track is now mostly
Masterson
dry.
out of the road. But again, right around the outside.
The track is
You're
now.
right, look at the sun poking through.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the last 3 laps, we've gone from 32s to 22, so the track is coming to him.
In a big way. So that means very shortly we'll see the drivers that are still out there on the wets. So that's David Johnson, Sam Lauder, and Ricky Provenzali on pit lane for tyres. But it's going to result in a bit of an invoice for them.
Because the problem is they haven't burned enough fuel to actually. It's going to cost them some time because
to balance out the changeover of the tyres.
Yeah, because it's going to take 21 seconds for the tyres, and they haven't drained enough fuel from the tank to cover that in fuel.
Correct. Yeah, Speed Cafe reporting what we were talking about earlier, that we will have the bend on iRacing later this week. Here we go. It's not the most overly exciting racetrack in the world, I'm just going to say it. It is great to have another Australian track there, but there are more exciting circuits.
Jared Knight's in the wrong pit lane.
Yep, correct. Jared Knight has gone down the wrong pit lane. It's going to be a huge invoice for him. And that's a 10-second penalty for David Johnson as well. For contact with Richard King. Knight is down pit road and he'll be filthy. He's tripped himself up and cost himself surely a top 10 finish in the process. Oh dear. Now he's back down pit lane. Second time lucky. But that is 20 seconds that he's just gifted the field. Easily. So Dyson now out on his own, but has the company of his teammate, Chris Ireland, looming large. Daniel Edmonds, fastest lap of the race, 2:19.125. $14 minutes gone, just about. And Sam Blacklock has got himself a 5.83 second advantage over Jacob O'Reilly. So Orbit Drop Bear leads Vermilion at the moment. The two heavyweight teams of this category, this form of racing on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, going out at Hammer and Tong on a Monday night. Vermilion, good numbers actually right across the board. Tyson Broad has a fair amount of time defined, having dropped down to 16th in this opening stint for Orbit Drop Bear. They've got 3 in the top 5. Vermilion have 2. We're already saying Oscar Haynes park up. So too Chuk Fung Wong and Ford Mustang. Everybody else still out there. Jared Knight was stationary for 10.50 seconds, but it was a lot longer than that, having gone down 2 pit lanes instead of 1. Harrison Lewis, fastest lap of the race, 2:19.033. It's a little bit quiet at the moment, isn't it? Never got through that slippery, exciting start. We're now just rolling through the motions. Daniel Edmonds, 2:18.694. So he's the one with pace at the moment for DPR Racing. Harrison Lewis to second on Jacob O'Reilly. And Sam Sutton's there as well. So it's Orbit Drop Bear 1-2. Jacob O'Reilly's lost out. And Eli, oh, jeez. Still O'Reilly there has got back by Lewis. There was something else unfolding a little bit further back that we need to go back and have a look at. Have a look at this. The up and under from Lewis. He's got support from Sutton there as well. Down the inside and job done. Lewis will go to second, but for how long? O'Reilly is hanging tough right around the outside. He catches the curb. He tucks back in. Lewis goes to the inside to defend. I missed who was out. All fours in the weeds behind them. I'm not even sure it lit up an off-track alert, quite frankly. Down around the area of Lachlan Capel and Eli Donaldson and Nick Wood, I reckon, earlier this lap. And Lillis fighting with that car at the moment. So Robert dropped there 1-2. Jacob O'Reilly, third. Sam Sutton and Sam Chapman make up the top 5. Chapo already up 4 spots. Again, the 2 heavyweight teams of the series filling the top 5 spots. But Acura, Adam Lavis, interestingly enough, ahead of the McLaren right now, and it's been a seesawing battle all season between those 2 manufacturers. The Porsche, unfortunately, as Denchi has found out, not even close to being in contention.
It's always an interesting choice for GT3. And then, as this is the last week of this current spec, there's going to be a massive overhaul. Both tyres and car handlings are getting changed tomorrow night, so these guys have got a week to work it out and go straight to the green hell. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge for them, but I'm sure these guys are big enough and ugly enough to work it out, and we should see some interesting racing next week.
Sweet sound of GT3 cars up the Camel Straight. It's interesting too because we know that the GT3 Real World Endurance Classic, the 24 hours of Spa, is coming later in the year with record interest. Extraordinary numbers lining up, and we're looking forward to watching that on, well, I'm assuming YouTube really, in this part of the world towards the back end of June. Or is it July? No, it is June. Yeah, that's right, because it's Nürburgring, it's Nordschleife, and Spa are all consecutive weeks. Le Mans, Nürburg, and Spa, yeah. Le Mans, of course, coming up this weekend. 24 hours, starting Saturday night, midnight, Eastern. And you'll see that on Stan Sport, by the way. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, no, there he is. Jeez. Heart and mouth moment for Harrison Lillis. Dropping off the face of the planet. Daniel Edmonds, 2:18.694, fastest lap of the race. Nick Wood, 10th place at the moment, best place to the Mustangs. Only 6 different manufacturers in this race, folks. Actually, I was right the first time. So, Acura, McLaren, Porsche, Ford, Audi, and BMW. That is it. No Merc. No Lambo. No Chev Corvette either. Nick Wood follows through. They're back onto the main straight once more. And in comes Jacob O'Reilly. In comes Jacob O'Reilly into 4th place, into the pit lane from 3rd place of the racetrack. It's now an orbit drop there, 1, 2, 3. Eli Donaldson also for Entropy makes his way to pit road as well. And, big one. Dane Snadden for the 2nd time tonight comes unstuck on the approach to the bus stop. The 2nd time tonight, Dane Snadden has ended up in the concrete. Round to the left-hander. Porsche doing Porsche things. All on his own. Oh, wow, that hurts. That's a big crunch. Daniel Edmonds again, fastest lap of the race, 2:18.588. This is Richard Mitchum. Under assault from Daniel Edmonds at the moment. He's chasing Nick Wood. That's right. No Ferraris in this field either, ladies and gentlemen. I was having trouble remembering for a split second. I mentioned 4 manufacturers earlier. I only mentioned 3 in that previous segment, in that previous spiel. Ricky Provenzali coming out of the final corner and grinding his way through the gravel. Daniel Edmonds continues his charge. Oh, there's Ricky Provenzali again. That one's going to hurt more. Maybe a little bit of dirt still on the tyres, a little bit of debris. So many different contributing factors. James Snowden back to pit lane. Ricky Provenzali on the tow road. Aaron Cooper parked up and done. Chuk Fung Wong. Oscar Haynes parked up and done. Down the inside goes Richard Mitchum. Can you get the job done? Yes.
That was Edmonds on Richard.
Oh, it was Edmonds on Mitchum. My apologies. So Edmonds prevails into 8th and up 22 positions already. The question is, did he actually post a qualifying time?
And this is after he
qualifying time.
This is after he had a moment as well. He got spun at the was earlier on.
Yeah. Up 22 spots already. This is ridiculous. 22 minutes gone. He's made a position a minute. So far, we're only on lap 10. It's Blacklock, Lillis and Sutton. Orbit drop there, 1, 2, 3. Sam Chapman for Vermilion in 4th. Then Andrew Dyson, Chris Island, Lachlan Caper, Daniel Evans with That's the top 10. Nick Wood is 11th now. Just having a look around this circuit at the moment to find a couple of different talking points. This is Tyson Broad, caught the curve, Rouge done. That'll be his night gone over and out. Thanks for coming. Night done for Tyson Broad onto the tow rope at the end of lap 10. Oh my goodness, that's a big shunt for Broad. An enormous moment. That curb has bitten and spat up or out the best of them in the past. Tonight, no exception to the rule. Wowee. It looks a lot more spread out than what that track map would make it seem, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie, you look at that main straight there and the Grand Prix main straight, and all those little dots that you see there, it's like a polymerization. All different various numbers, long chains of molecules. That's what it looks like. It's like a polymerization. But when you look out on the racetrack, you can see that the gaps do not reflect that there are any long chains in this field at the moment. Certainly, of course, we did have some long chains at the very beginning of the race, but they've fanned out quite considerably, actually. There's only really 1, 2, maybe 3 distinct battle packs on the track right now, and the track is 7 kilometres long, so it's fairly well spread out. The other problem we've got as well, Adam Lavis, and you know exactly why I've mentioned the word polymerization, but you've got the top 15 yet to stop, and you've got a varying number of different strategies at play here. Jeff Adams also hasn't stopped down in 18th. You've got Ricky Provenzali back on pit lane, Tyson Broad parked up, Aaron Cooper, Chuk Fung Wong, Oscar Haynes all done. And everyone down outside the top 15, with the exception of Jeff Adams, has already completed a pit stop. What we don't know is how many pit stops Bobby Camo is going to have to complete, because he's already completed one. That was at the end of lap 1. And I dare say that anybody else will be okay to just get home on 1 extra stop. But Bobby, I've got an asterisk next to. I reckon he might need to do a 3rd.
Yeah, I think Bobby's not going to be able to do it. The guys have been on lap 5, so 90, Johnson, Lauder, etc. They should be okay, maybe a slightly borderline. Coatsy lap 4, not 100% sure. It's the 2 minutes, so it's roughly not quite 10 minutes, so it could have been, it might be a little early, but I'm sure he'll make it well.
We've just gone scientific on a Monday night. It's fantastic, isn't it? Excuse me. Daniel Edmonds in 8th place. That's probably the story of the race so far, from 30th to 8th in the opening stint. In comes Blacklock. Blacklock is in.
Oh.
Had a lead up towards 7 seconds at the end of that stint, Adam Lavis. What a great opening stint from Sam Blacklock. Sam Sutton plays on, but Chapman, Dyson and Lillis all in. Critical lap, lap 11.
So I just remember, Edmonds wouldn't have set a lap time because he started at the back of the grid, because it's his first race. He got basically put in with one of the boys flagged his IR and test pace to put him straight to pro. So this is actually his first race in the club. So being the last 2 rounds of the season, he was obligated to start from the back.
And to be fair, it's great to have another new member. So Blacklock, Lewis, Dyson, Mitchum, Chapman, Wood, Ireland. Piper didn't go in that time round. Sutton didn't go in, but everybody else just about did. Ireland, Capel, Mitchum, Horton, Shepherd, Riddell, and Dawson, all in that time round. There was a lot of pit lane activity at the end of lap 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 drivers opted to complete their first stop, that time through. Ricky Provenzali on pit lane still after 7 minutes. Now, if he can get back out there and complete 75% of whatever the race distance ends up being, I'm not even going to get the Zaculator out tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not going to work, considering the variance in lap times from first until last. But Alan Dawson, Jeff Adams are in there on pit road at the moment. Ricky Provenzali and Dane Snadden, if they can both get back out on the racetrack, get their car repaired and get back going, there is the chance for them to still get classified. So far, we've got 24 cars circulating. We've got Dylan Shepherd lighting up an off-track alert. We've got David Johnson going past Jeff Adams. We've got Richard King chasing Bobby Camo at the moment, having started pit lane and stopped again on lap 8. We've got Dane Snadden, Ricky Provenzali both on pit lane. We've got Tyson Broad, Aaron Cooper, Chuck Van Norman, Oscar Haynes all out of business. So we've got still only 80% of the field running. 24 at this point in time stand to score championship points. Sam Sutton has taken the lead from Sam Blacklock and Daniel Piper, but those two, Sutton and Piper, yet to stop. Expect them on the lane this time by Sutton is in right now. This is what happened to Semi Lauda. Uh-oh. Bang. That's a big hit. There's no small hits around that part of the circuit. Big week of sport. Our GT3 coverage here, of course, is just night 1 of 4 that will be on air with you for this week. We're back on Wednesday for the Arcas from Daytona, the Supercars from Sonoma, 60-minute race there. Thursday night, Porsche's Mount Panorama, Super Formula Lights from Hungary. Friday night, it's an American double, I think I'm right in saying. I'm just having a mind blank there. Formula Ford's in action first up. I'm pretty sure they were also at Sonoma. And then IndyCar from Portland to round out the week. Portland, of course, being the newest track on the server. And that will be Friday night for this week. Joe Baldwin's back, I'm back. Daniel Yeaman's here on Wednesday. I'm with him instead of Liam Banks. So 4 nights worth of entertainment. Looking forward to it immensely. And Thursday night, of course, Matt Schmidtke. So 4 different directors, but the same lead play-by-play commentator this week, ladies and gentlemen. It's like musical chairs. It's going to be fantastic.
So, mediocre Zaculators. So we're coming up in half distance now, and they haven't quite done 12 and a half laps. I think it's going to be 25, maybe 24, depending, given that the next stop will be a bit shorter. So it'll be definitely 24 laps, maybe 25 if Blacklock can stretch it out.
Yeah.
Which is good. Which is good news.
That's a fair point.
Which is good news for Coatsy, because if it's even if it's 25 laps, and the 11 lap stints, he can make it.
Yeah, and here's the other consideration as well. Now that we're running dry times and we're running 218s, 219s, so let's round it back to 220.
Well, that might be the only. Oh, Bobby's got it on pit lane as well.
Yeah, he has.
He's seen the witch stats and gone, that's not going well.
That's not going to end well at all. And you still get slow for pit lane speeding if you fall foul of that down the old pit lane. That's not in use tonight either. Dylan Shepherd going down the grass along the Carmel Straight. That is Sam Chapman and Andrew Dyson. So let me just keep an eye on this, right? Because I'm looking at this and thinking 2:20 and 2 is 4:40 and 2:20 is 7 minutes on the nose, right? So 7 times 4 is 28 and 3 times 4 is 12. So that's going to get you 28 minutes.
Yeah, I think the 25 is more likely, given that the start of the race was wet. So the second half race will be faster.
Yeah, because, and that's the other consideration as well. So they're going to complete that lap now, right? That's going to give them 31 and a half. But there's also going to be, so that's 28 and a half. Plus there's also the consideration of how long the pit lane transit is. I think we're on track for 25. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you've nailed that. 2:18.513 for Harrison Lewis as well. And if there's any carryover time, Adam Lavis, then the chance to start that last lap somewhere in that final minute, we'd have to considerably increase the pace from here. I'm not convinced that we're going to do that. I don't know exactly what the pit lane transit's going to be, but that would be the only determining factor between 25 and 26, because if they start that 25th lap beyond 2 minutes 20 from the checkered flag, considering that the time's around the 2:18s, that will actually get us to 26. We saw it the other night in the Porsches. We went 8 minutes bloody overtime at the Nordschleife.
The only other thing that might be, is that these guys did 11 laps on this first stint, but that was rain affected. So can they still do 11 laps on a full dry stint, or will that get rolled back to 10? If it goes back to 10, that's might make things a little harder for Coatsy.
Indeed. Hey, good evening to you, Sam Stride. Firstly, we mentioned it off the top. Well done on the 4th place in GT4 Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Secondly, word challenge complete. And thirdly, what have you made from the proceedings so far from the comfort of race control, please?
Mate, so far they've mostly behaved pretty good. Like, luckily, I think most of the guys here would have done plenty of laps around Spa in their time if they're GT3 maniacs. It's sort of a bit of a home for GT racing, but I think they've behaved themselves pretty good. It's been some pretty good racing. It's sort of spread out a bit now. I think there'll be some people doing a bit of fuel saving until we get to the final stanza, but let's see what happens once they've gone into their second CPS and they've got fuel till the end. Will there be some people that are struggling for fuel, some that aren't, and maybe they're racing towards the end and we can actually watch a bit of competition rather than at the minute it's sort of a bit of a follow the leader.
Now, the other thing as well, mates, you're right, Maniacs GT3 racing, but also Maniacs in GT4. Talk us through, I want to get your opinion on that run around Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, 4th place, when the 3 benchmarks for the championship are just ahead of you. That's not too bad of a result.
Yeah, not too bad. I generally struggle in GT4. They're not really my car. I just never really gel with them too much. Not enough cylinders. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. I don't mind Motorsport. I just find it's a generally pretty good track for most cars, and I know a lot of people quite enjoy it. So that's how I ended up in the calendar. It's definitely not my favourite track, but it's by far not my least favourite track. But it was a pretty good night for me. I was just trying to hit my marks, and I got some of them.
I'm glad that you verified that, because there were a few people that were starting to think that you might have just slotted it in there because you liked it, given the result that you put on the board. But no, that wasn't the case. So good to know. Good to know. It'll be interesting to see how this remaining 25 minutes plays out, mate. Again, Sam Blacklock's in a different postcode. He's going to be hard to achieve. Hard to reel in, I should say, being 5 seconds up the road. But Harrison Lewis just needs to keep it clean, and he's going to put one hand on a potential championship glory, which would be historic for so many different reasons. I mean, what have you made of what you've seen thus far, in the sense that we've seen a couple of big ones, but we haven't seen much in the way of car-to-car contact? It's mainly been a case of drivers tripping themselves up, getting caught out by different weather conditions at different parts of the circuit, among other things.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of door-to-door, which we like to see, but I think GT3s don't particularly like that, with all their splitters and spoilers are going to hang off them. But yeah, Spa being a huge track, probably one of the bigger tracks around the world, you're going to get a lot of different track conditions throughout once it's drying out a little bit, especially with the undulation that Spa does have across its vast surfaces. But not as many people as you'd think have sort of busted up and come off the track, but it's been, I guess, like, for attrition-wise, it's been pretty good, hasn't it?
Absolutely, it has. Now, Jackson Dial weighing into the mix. Hello, mate. Nice to have you on board. We'd love to see Adam race track preferably, but that's another story. Sam Lauder has just completed his second stop, so we think he might be running to home now on lap 14. And if it is 25, Adam, then, 11 laps get you to 25, so that works out mathematically speaking. Dylan Shepherd parked up, done. Dane Snadden, done. Tyson Broad, done. Ricky Provenzali is done now, irrespective of what happens, because he's more than 25% behind the scheduled race distance of the leader, Sam Blacklock, being that he is 7 laps down. And if we're going to 25, you've got to clock 19 to be classified. So bad luck there. We won't be able to do that. Aaron Cooper, Chook Fung Wong, Oscar Haynes. So, yeah, the attrition rate, it's about 25% of the field that we've lost already thus far. Night shift for me this week, mate. So might come back next season. Keen for the new tyre. Yeah, we're looking forward to the way in which the changes are going to reinvent the wheel here on the platforms of Gentleman Sim Racing Club across GT3 especially. And we're looking forward to probably going GT3 racing at the Bend next term as well. All that to look forward to across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube when season 22, term 3 of 2025 gets underway Monday, July 7. I'll be fresh off the back of a trip to Grenfell in southern New South Wales, so that's going to be a biggie. But I wanted to also bring Adam Lavis into the conversation right now. I have a request for you, actually. At the end of the night, when you're doing the points update, I want you to let me know what the equation is for next week with Harrison Lewis, because I've got the feeling now that tonight, Dedge not being on the grid, that's going to rub him out completely. And I just want you to verify that for me, because if that is the case, irrespective of whatever happens from this point forward, we know that it's the end of the Dedge era, the Dedge domination, and the end of that consecutive title run. 13 seasons. It's an incredible statistic. It's going to take a very long time for it to be emulated, matched or bettered. But yes, the end of an era in every sense of the word. Brad asking Sam who the sponsors might be. Is that a question directed at you, please, Stridey?
I think that's a question he likes to ask the last week and this week since I've been doing GT3 Pro.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Brad,
go for it.
I can't read.
Copy.
So yeah, I look at the pictures. That's about as far as I get.
Copy. Out we go. Seems like Eli Johnson on pit lane. There's a car again at the back there as well right now. Just didn't pick up the red go on that. Brad Coates, thank you, Adam Lavis. 2 stops, lap 15. He's a lap down at the moment as well. Sorry to Bobby Camo and Sam Lauder, but those guys are on track to potentially get that lap back when Blacklock, Lewis and O'Reilly head to pit lane among others. Chapman, Dyson as well. Look at that. That's a cracking scrap, actually. Chapo in 4th, Jacob O'Reilly 3rd. Now, O'Reilly, of course, still in something of championship contention here. Greathead not being on the grid tonight probably sees O'Reilly promoted to 2nd. 366 plays, 329 and 309 coming into this round. Lewis, Greathead, O'Reilly. Dench on 293 was 73 behind coming into this round, and is going to get 30 back tonight, whatever happens, because that's the better of his 2 drop rounds. And it'll be replaced by a 0. Which means he's only going to have 15 points up his sleeve next week, which is nowhere near enough. It would need to be a faultless, formidable, Dench-like performance where he ticks all the boxes, gets every single point that he can next week, and then hope that other results fall his way. I think it's a very long shot. Blacklock, Lewis, O'Reilly heading to the 2nd round of pit stops. Sutton and Donaldson are already there. Lap 17. Surprised at how quickly this field is spread out. Really surprised at just how far this field is spread out. Coach Commode louder, all the lap down, and only 23 cars still running, folks. So not enough cars on track to fill the points matrix. There are 25 points paying positions in this field, but we've only got 23 that are going to be in contention to bag some championship points. Someone that slid into the booth that we probably wasn't expecting his gate crash, but he's welcome. In another part of the world that didn't have the progressive and civilised King's Birthday holiday weekend this weekend. Hello, Connor Nixon.
Hello, mate. How are you? Thought I'd come say hello.
I'm well. More to the point, where the bloody hell are you?
Folding washing, being sent to film.
Okay. Well, that's very nicely done. So that took priority over going out and racing, please.
It did, mate. It did.
How come?
I had to send a package out as well from Sam Blacklock for a dash. So that was the second thing as well. So yeah, I thought I'd come up and say hello. Yeah, kind of chill out. Cause yeah,
You're going to make a man very happy one day.
I know, right? I know.
Yes. At this point in time, we should highlight two things. One, we're going to nickname Connor Postman Pat going forward. And two, because of the time difference in WA and the fact that it wasn't a public holiday, you would have been in a position to actually go to the post office, whereas the rest of the country, except for up here in the year of 1913, we all have to wait. The rest of the country has to wait for tomorrow to go to their local post office, of course. So talk us through what's going through your mind at the moment, mate. You're watching Sammy Blacklock and Harrison Lewis and Orbit Drop Bear 1-2. Unfortunately, not a good night out for Tyson Broad. Sammy Sutton still sitting there in 11th, but we know that he's his second pit stop, whereas everybody else ahead of him has still got to come in and transit the lane once more. So he's sitting pretty as well.
Yeah, this Nixon bloke in the booth. God knows who.
That's my fault. I apologise in advance to everybody at home.
No, I mean, it's good for the team. I know these boys are really good in the wet, and I know the Acura is very good in the wet. So,
Dyson down the inside of Chapman, coming back to you. Connor, hold the phone. Chapman to pit lane. In goes Dyson as well, and O'Reilly. Critical lap for everybody. Lap 18 is the big going number. Here we go. Blacklock, Lewis, O'Reilly, Dyson, and Chapman. Oh boy, all eyes on pit road right now. Keep your eyes peeled here, folks. Richard Mitchum carries on. He's going to go through and lead this lap. Josh Horton will go through as well. They're running a little bit longer in this stint. So too Dave Riddell. Everybody else has chosen to go to the lane that time by. And with the exception of the top three, and also, of course, Alan Dawson and Jeff Adams, the field will be cleansed at this point. And back out onto the main straight we go. Sammy Sutton up to 6th spot now. We told you that he was in contention. He's effectively third in the car race. Once you take into consideration that Mitchum, Horton and Riddell will get to stop a second time. So Sammy Sutton setting it up nicely. He's leapfrogged Jacob O'Reilly to the tune of 3 seconds. He's in contention here to put Orbit Drop Bear in a position to lock out the podium, and Riddell under pressure from Harrison Lewis. No holds barred from Lewis, despite the fact that Riddell's not in sequence. Despite the fact that he's due to come to pit lane again. Wowee. It is all happening here. Hello, Connor.
I was going to say Sammy Sutton, by the way. Love the nickname. I think that's peak. So yeah, call him that from now on.
Sorry, what was his nickname? I missed that memo.
You called him Sammy Sutton. I love it.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah,
the fact that I called him Sammy. Yep, right.
Yep, love it.
All right. I don't know. By the sounds of it, I'm assuming that he doesn't love it, but that's okay. We'll run with it.
Yeah, run with it. It's fine.
Yeah, copy. For Orbit Drop there. Yeah, it's not my nickname. I don't care. Says Connor. Hello, Adam.
Is it Sammy with a MY or with an IE?
No, I would have
that one out later.
I would have got MY, but that's another story. Go for it.
I've got a nickname for him after the stream. I'll let you know.
Send me a message of it, Sam.
I don't want there to be any track record of it.
Correct. correct. There we go. Jackson Dole,
All right.
fire up, Semi fans. Yep, that's it. Right. So focus on the motor racing, you lot. Back we go. I want to keep an eye. I want to keep an eye on Blacklock. Blacklock coming to the line. Look at the clock. 14:10, 14:09, 14:08, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There is the start of the 20th lap. Right. However, if the pace remains here,
There's 5 laps remaining.
This will be interesting because Harry's been a lot quicker in these cars over Sam, so it'll be interesting.
what I'm saying to you, gentlemen, is they're not doing 220s, right? If they are doing 218s or 219s, they're going to have they're going to have seconds in the bank. They might have to go to 26. They might have to go to 26.
Oh, it's just clicked up to 6 laps remaining.
There you go. Exactly the point. So we were talking
I've got a question for you.
We're talking about going to 25. We're talking about 6. It might be 7, because if it goes, if they can continue to lap sub 220, it's going to be mere seconds in it, but they will be in the positive and they will get that extra lap, and we'll see about 2 minutes of overtime.
It depends how long the rain's been going, because their fuel calculators would have adjusted, so they might have enough. So that's what I'm thinking, knowing the boys, they'll play it safe, being 1, 2, 3 at the moment. I'd say Sam's probably put a little less and he's trying to work it all out, because I know Sam's a bit of a wizard when it comes to calculators. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where Sam comes out in this. But I think Mr. Blacklock and Harry will definitely figure that one out quite early on.
I'm really interested in the numbers game now, because again, as Adam Lavis will attest, even the Zaculator wasn't ready to try and work it out at the halfway mark. It was saying, figure it out for yourself.
I forgot about that name, by the way, Zach. That's a bit of an old one.
The bingo card? Yeah,
the old Zaculator. That's an old one.
It is. We can thank Grant Gill for that, going back all the way. Strider, as long as it's G-rated for the next 4 minutes,
it's G-rated. So you find Queensland's in 1913, right?
Yeah, 112 years behind civilization, particularly in the summer months. Yes, go on.
Who has held a gun to your head and made you live there? You know you can move, right?
I know, but unfortunately, people keep asking me to work up here, and it's a bit of a mongrel of a community. But I have to do it every bloody weekend. That's the problem. There is Semi Sutton going to 4th. Great move on Dave Riddell, and now chasing Harrison Lillis. Remembering that Richard Mitchum is still yet to stop as well. So effectively, it's orbit drop there. 1, 2, 3. Dave Riddell yet to stop as well. So Sutton is corrected order 3rd once Richard Mitchum pits. There's only 15 seconds between Mitchum and Sutton at the moment. It's 8 seconds the advantage Mitchum to Blacklock, but again, he cancels out of the equation. He is due on pit lane at some point. We're on lap 21. We're racing the clock. We're working our way to what we think might be potentially a 26-lap race by mere seconds. With 25 where our numbers laid at around the time of the second stop. But again, if they keep lapping in the 218s and 19s, which Blacklock, Lillis and Sutton, they were all in the 18s, high 18s or low 19s last time by, there will be time in the bank when they get back to the start-finish line.
Is Jacob O'Reilly catching Sutton there, or is it equaled out? I'm just curious. I was watching the relative, but I don't know. Oh.
So what it is, boys, is 9 minutes 20 is that threshold. 9 minutes 20 is that threshold. If they get back to the line north of, ahead of that marker, if it's 9:22, 9:23, 9:24, I don't care. If they get back before we hit 9 minutes 20 on the clock, which I think Blacklock is on track to do, then it will be a case of strap yourself in and buckle up for 5 laps of racing from here.
This will be Blacklock's first win as well in the GT3 Pro Split, so this will be a good little victory for him.
Indeed it would be. 2 ninths, a second, a 29th, a second, a 4th, a 5th, a 9th, and a couple of DNRs along the way as well. 266
Yeah.
points throughout the course of the year, 100 behind his teammate Harrison Lillis in the points race. Bang, there's 21 now. Yes, we were north of 920. So strap yourself in, gentlemen. We're going to 26. We are going to 26. So the numbers have been updated. For me,
Riley
at
is
least.
catching, but not enough for Sutton from the looks of it.
No. How proud are you watching on? Your teammates just rocking and rolling, flying their trade in a rock star sort of way, Connor. 1, 2, and 3 effectively on corrected order at the moment. This is a statement-making performance, and it also goes to show that we've found a circuit where the Acura has had the edge on the McLaren, but even all the drop there has had the edge, more importantly, on William.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit shocked, to be honest, because all the boys were a bit like, oh, God, we're going to have to go and drive Monday. So, yeah,
Yes.
they're all a bit knackered from the 24. You know, we had all 4 or 5 cars, I think it was. You know, it was a big weekend. So, yeah, I'm shocked all these boys have kind of got their mojo back instantly. But clearly, yeah, they're smashing it. So, yeah, good on them. Yeah, I wasn't in the chat all night, so clearly they've found something in the setup, or they're just driving the wheels off it. Because yeah, it's really good to see Blacklock out front. We saw at Le Mans he was really strong in the rain, so yeah, it must have done him some good work there.
Indeed. 7:50 on the clock. Mitchum, Blacklock, Lillis, Sutton, Riddell. Heading towards the end of the 22nd lap. And it'll be 4 to go at the line. The question is, when does Richard Mitchum peel off? Is this the critical lap for him? Because it was lap 11 when he first stopped, where on the 11th lap of the stint, therefore, effectively, it was a 19.15 second stop for him first time round. Surely this is the number in which he comes to pit lane. Have a look at this. Ryan Campbell. Hello, mate. Big Dog Nixon. Actually, that's a good question. I didn't realise that the Cup car was DQ'd. Connor, what's going on there, please? What's the story?
No further comment, to be honest. Yeah, we had a driver that didn't turn up, so from some issues. So yeah, Dench had some stuff on. So yeah, we ended up crossing the line at Nords, 6 minutes in the lead, and yeah, it got DQ, unfortunately. So
Wow.
Yeah, bit unfortunate. But yeah, Dench had a couple of issues, so yeah, we ended up getting a DQ. So unfortunately, unofficially,
So 24 hours for nothing.
Oh, Blacklock got a packet. It's gone.
Oh, no. R.I.P. Semi Blacklock's internet. Can you believe that?
Reckon he's got some choice words going on in his sim about now.
I would imagine. So there and thus with it goes the Orbit Drop Bear podium lockout as well. Here it is. Watch this. La Source. He won't make it to Eau Rouge. Wow-wee.
Houdini.
Now, does that also explain kind of M. Dench's absence this evening? Or is that a completely unrelated matter?
Yeah, we don't know about that. So, yeah. I think he's got some stuff on recently. So, yeah, we'll just let him do his own little thing for a bit. And hopefully he'll be back in the seat quite shortly. But, yeah, unfortunately, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. So, yeah, we ended up... It was a great 24-hour, though. It was really good fun. It was eventful. It was probably the best 24 I've ever been a part of. Like, the traffic was amazing. Everyone around was great. No, it was a good event. It was really good.
The best one you've been involved in, minus the result.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean...
you've ticked 99 boxes out of 100, Connor.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah, we are...
Unbelievable.
Well, Majors is the next one, Majors 24 for Le Mans. So, yeah, we're cracking on for that. So the boys already putting laps in, and I'll be all tomorrow testing GT3. So that'll be fun. So just preparing myself for that.
3 laps to go for Harrison Lillis. He's on the run home. He's definitely on the run home here.
There's no point testing tomorrow. It all changes on Wednesday.
Correct.
It is too. Thank you, Adam. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Find something
See ya.
else to do. Go and binge
I
a
know.
show on one of the streaming platforms.
I'm watching FBI and Prime. You can find Amazon. It's a great show, actually. Recommend it.
I recommend tuning into Wednesday Night Motorsport on the platforms of Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Only because it's Arcas and Daytona, and we know that'll bring about a big one or two. That'll be good fun. I'm looking forward to it immensely. Well, that being said, there are a couple of things on a couple of different streaming platforms that I'd like to have the time to sink my teeth into, but I just don't at the moment. Lillis, Sutton, O'Reilly, Dyson, Chapman, Capel, Mitchum, Ireland and Horton make up the top 9. Eli Donaldson is 10th. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Vermilion, 2 for Orbit Drop there, 1 for DPR, 1 for Evolution, actually 2 for DPR, 1 for Evolution and 1 for Entropy as well. So 4 Vermilion staple entries in the top 10. Dyson and Ireland there for DPR. O'Reilly, Chapman, Mitchum and Horton there for Vermilion at the moment. Tom Wilkinson, Connor is special is the feedback that we're getting at the moment.
He's
How
not wrong.
special we talking?
Fails to listen. Fails to listen to Daniel Yeaman once again. What was Dan Yeaman's advice, please?
God knows. He says a lot. So
Probably said something
why
about
you-
Connor,
yeah.
keep your mouth shut or you'll get in trouble. Probably something like that.
No, that was last week's
right.
intervention. Yeah, no. No, it's
That probably applies to more than a week, Connor. I don't know.
yeah, I know, right? I don't really listen to a few boys
No,
every now and then.
I think we've already put 2 and 2 together there, son.
Yeah, I listen to Sam Sutton when I get yelled at by
Right.
him. That's about it.
Okay. Adam Lavis, if we can have one eye on Barney, please, just to make sure that he's not flapping his arms around this time by the line for Harrison Lewis, that'd be greatly appreciated. Here comes Lewis down past the start-finish strike. 5, 4. I reckon it might be a white flag, boys. Just quietly. There we go. No, we're good. We're good. He got back to the line with 2:21 on the clock and 2:19.095. So I reckon it's going to be a full lap of overtime by 2 1/4 minutes worth coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. So stay with us. We're not done yet.
Update on Sam Blacklock's internet. It seems like it hasn't even kicked back in, so something's really went wrong there.
You didn't listen about Dan
the
telling
time.
you about the GT3s changing on Wednesday. He's apparently told you 10 times.
Yeah.
I
do remember that now.
Stridey's told you, Adam's told you, Yeaman's
mate.
told you. Mate, do you listen to anybody?
Not really.
There's a reason
no.
why you got 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Yeah, I get told that a lot. I did commentary for 3 years, so let me alone.
Oi, I've done it for 21. How do you reckon I'm going? Daniel Edmonds, 19 positions gained. Eli Donaldson, 12, and Daniel Piper, 13. The big movers of the night so far, gentlemen. 1 Acura, make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 McLarens and 2 Porsches in the top 10. So yes, it might have been a McLaren circuit had Harrison Lewis and co not broken clear in the early stages. The despair of the night belongs to Sammy Blacklock. He had both hands on that trophy until the packet loss. He was 5 seconds up the road from everybody. But in the end, it is going to be an Acura night, and it's going to be a championship-defining night, a potential championship-clinching night here for Harrison Lewis. He will still have to come back next week and tick the box, but he's going to make the equation so much easier for himself. The other reason why it's worth noting that we were probably on track to get a little bit further up the road than what we have. We were looking at Sam Blacklock as the benchmark as far as the times were concerned, where the goalposts were, but because of that 5-6 seconds that went out the rear view mirror when he got sent packing, if you pardon the pun, that's obviously meant, as Harrison Lewis does get to the line and see the white flag with 2 seconds to go, we are on the run home now, ladies and gentlemen. We've got an extra lap ahead of us here. It'll be the 26th and final one. Denchi went on a holiday and didn't invite the boys, is the advice from Jackson Dole, the Rain Campbell. And
He's on vacation.
Daniel Edmonds trying to get himself into the top 10 from 30th on the grid from 30th on the grid to 11th. He's got Eli Donaldson and Josh Horton for company, and we've got one lap to go at Spa. Look at this. Edward Dyson on the front of Sam Chapman. Chapman up the outside, down the couple straight. Chapman going to fourth. Can he get it done around the outside? No. He's still there. He's still there. He's still there. They're rubbing doors. They're rubbing paddles. Dyson gets the job done for the moment and keeps Chapman at bay. Goodbye, Sam Stride. He set himself out. Back to race control he goes. Connor Nixon's going to stay here. Adam Lavers is going to stay here. We're on the way home. Lewis, Sutton, O'Reilly, Dyson, Chapman, Capel, Mitchum, Ireland, Horton and Donaldson, the top 10. How good is this? So, that wasn't his network that died, Sammy Blacklock. Someone turned it off. Oh, wow, okay.
Oh.
Gee.
I'll be interested to jump in the Discord, man.
I'm going to be very interested. There's more to that.
Yeah.
There's more to that. And that was the whole thing, because he was 5 seconds up the road, right?
Yeah.
So that made the fine point of the mathematics of this equation a whole lot tighter than they otherwise could have and should have been, because he would have easily got us back to the line. He's just joined us in the booth to start lap 26.
Does Lewis have any?
Harrison Lewis did.
Does Lewis have any relatives that live by Sutton's house? By Blacklock's house?
We're about to find out. Sammy Blacklock, thanks for stopping in and having a chat with us. Hold, please, for a couple of seconds here, because here comes your teammates in the final 2 corners. And on a night where the chance went begging for him to notch up his first win in GT3, his teammate Harrison Lewis will reap the reward instead and put one hand on a dent-breaking championship victory in Waste Options GT3 Pro. Harrison Lewis and Acura for Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport get the job done at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium. Magnificent stuff. He won in round 1 at Mugello. He got the job done in race 1 of round 4 at Road Atlanta. Won round 5 at the Circuit de la Salle.
Oh.
Hit the double. Whoa! In there, whoa, we go!
Oh, they're still going.
Bang!
Oh, the Mustang's off.
Whooshka!
They're not even at the finish line.
Fighting for 10th, 11th, and
He's in
12th.
reverse.
What the hell are you doing? Daniel Evans is going to reverse across the finish line. If that was the real world, they'd throw him out. He's gone.
Reverse.
What the? I'm looking at the fact sheet, the run sheet for Harrison Lewis, and all hell's gone and broken loose. What the hell? Let's have another look at this. Eli Donaldson was under pressure from Daniel Edmonds. They've taken Nick Wood with them. They finished 10th, 11th, and 12th. But they were all fighting for the last one of the top 10. Donaldson has won it, but I don't know how. Edmonds would have been making the lunge down the inside going to the final corner. Let's have a look at this. We won't be hearing from Sam Stride again tonight. He'll have shown himself out. He'll be in race control reviewing this tape. Oh, wow. Oh. Off they went. There's Nick Wood. See you later.
Yeah, Daniel didn't fight back. He was going to go into the barrier there too, so wow.
Can we just confirm if that was Josh Horton that came through? Was that Josh Horton that came through and pipped Eli Donaldson?
So Horton sort of left it at the bus stop and let them both through, then got both back.
And as a result of that, Josh Horton gets 9th. So these guys were actually fighting for 9th.
Yeah, so Horton was 9th heading into the bus stop. They both got him into the bus stop, and he's got him back as they've come together in La Source.
And that was all started by... Can we have another look at it, please, Adam? Because... And apologies to Sammy Blacklock. We'll come to you shortly, but let's have a look at this.
So that's Horton in front.
So that's Horton. So Horton at the time was 9th.
Oh, he's run out of fuel.
Yeah, I think he was low on fuel. He was low on fuel. He wasn't running out. He's low, so he's fuel safe.
So he's the one that's been tripped up by the fact that we've gone 26 instead of 25. That takes
100%.
care of that, right? So then Donaldson goes defensive. So I missed that. Because the first time I caught wind of it was that Dyson was on the inside. But there was Donaldson defending the inside line. He's made a mistake. He's tripped up on the exit there. And then Dyson's had nowhere to go into Edmonds has had nowhere to go into the side of him. Then
Josh takes it off the 3, and then there's the Mustang.
Donaldson's then sort of forced it
Off-roader.
across towards the inside, towards the pit wall, and then they've interlocked, and poor old Nick Wood's been caught up as an innocent bystander, and Daniel Edmonds loses that completely. Horton comes through to pick up 9th, coughing and spluttering. Donaldson goes 10th. Wood clarts the wall and still finishes 11th, and Edmonds goes 12th. Now, let's have a look. There's no penalties being applied to that one just yet. What the hell? Lillis, Sutton, O'Reilly, all but drop their 1, 2. Vermillion 3, Dyson 4, Chapman 5, Capel, Mitcham Island, Horton, and Donaldson. Wood, Edmonds, Riddell, Piper, Dawson, Adams, Johnson, King, Knight, and Coates. 18 cars finish on the lead lap. Knight and Coates a lap down. And in the end, Adam Lavis, if we go over the page, Semi Lauder finished 21st. Bobby Camo 22nd. Sam Blacklock sent packing in every sense of the word. Finishes 23rd, but I'm not even sure if he's been booted from the server, Adam. What's the verdict there with regards to being given some championship points, because he's still completed 75% race distance and he's down 22 positions on where he started. He's completed 21, nearly 22 laps. Surely that counts as 75%. And then the long list of retirements, we know these guys don't score points. They include Dylan Shepherd, Dane Snadden, Tyson Broad, Ricky Provenzali, Aaron Cooper, Chuk Fung Long, and Oscar Haynes. Any comment from you, Adam?
Not yet. We're going to figure it out.
Okay, righto. Let me know if you can. And Sam Blacklock, we appreciate you being a good sport and jumping on in there and have a chat to us, mate. And your teammate Harry Lillis is here as well. Connor Nixon here too. He's been hanging around, just having a chinwag with us whilst you guys have been out there plying your trade. Exactly, you love it. Harrison, of course, I was going through the numbers when all that rubbish started with the battle for 10th and 9th there in the closing stages. 1, 2, 3, the double in round 7, so that's 5. 6th race win of the season out of 13 races for Harrison Lewis. He's won nearly 50% of them. Magnificent. No time for pit entry practice for Jared Knight. Yes, we figured that one out, Jared, unfortunately for you. You weren't the only one tripped up by that either, but nevertheless, costly. And you had good pace too, mate, so that was disappointing. Connor's been yapping, what a surprise. Yes, well, in my defence, I get paid to talk. I'm not sure what Connor's excuse is at the moment. Dave Oliver winning the Pro-Am split from Art Baz, Neil de Bruin, Paul Wood, Jason Wilkinson, Todd Suter, Andrew Neil, Warren Ivitt, Greg Heaney, and Martin Davis. And do we have air split results as well, please, Adam? Or not yet? No. Okay. We'll come back to that in a moment. In the meantime, Sam Blacklock. What the hell? I can't say the other word. We're on broadcast. But that was disappointing, mate, because you had a 5-second lead. That was... You could reach out and touch the checkered flag and the race victory, and as kind of correctly highlighted, it would have been a first in Waste Options GT3 Pro for you. Very disappointing, mate.
Yeah, man, I'm absolutely devastated. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Yeah, you know, my internet hasn't really dropped out or anything for the 4 years I've lived here. So yeah, I'm a little bit sus as to what's gone on. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's happened, but I'll find out and fix it and try and get to the bottom of it. But yeah, just devastated. It's looking like a, you know, good night. First ever pole, I think, in this series, and
yep.
You know, first ever win was basically there. I think maybe in the last few laps it might have been a little bit of a battle between me and Harry, but I think my pace was sort of staying there enough to probably just hold on. But yeah, I guess we'll never really know. But yeah, obviously well done to Harry. Yeah, at least if I dropped out, it was Harry that picked up the pieces.
And again, he goes a long way to securing that title that ends the reign of Dench as the king of GT3 Pro on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We'll hear from Harry in a moment. But staying with you, mate, give me your thoughts on how it was playing out in the first two stints, because, as you said, it felt as though Harry might have been gaining, might have been catching a little bit by bit, lap by lap. but you had a very good buffer to play with. That was a clinical opening stint from you. You left everybody in the rearview mirror. Best seat in the house having pole position in conditions like that. It was dicey, but it didn't take long for you to amass something in the realm of a 3, 4, 5 second lead. And the promising thing was, the impressive thing was, you went on with it in that opening stint, mate, all the way through to the first round of pit stops. That was a dream start.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with these GT cars. When it's a bit wet, I just seem to excel, I guess, in terms of dry pace versus wet pace. So yeah, I was just able to pick up sort of the lines and sort of really picked up the confidence quite early, just with where not to drive and you know, stuff like that. So I think once I was comfortable, I think the other two behind were sort of still trying to work out, you know, where they were braking and sort of what lines they were taking, stuff like that. Because yes, I was slowly eking out that gap, and then I remember I just was like, oh yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, and I was, you know, putting like a second or 2 seconds a lap on the guys behind. So that sort of made the buffer, and, you know, Harry was always going to come back, I think, towards the end. I did my best, but yeah, I just didn't have the raw car speed to sort of keep that gap where it was. But I was hoping in that last stint, you know, I'd fixed a few things with my driving, and the gap was sort of, I think it only come down about 4/10 since the last pit stop. So I was pretty hopeful. But yeah, like I said, never know. I could have made a mistake. Harry could have made a mistake. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
How much does that light the fire in the belly, though, to come back and have a crack at finishing the job next week at the Nürburgring Nordschleife?
Yeah, I'll have a go for sure, and hopefully I should have my my new dash by then, thanks to Connor Nixon. So get that set up, and hopefully that's worth a few tenths.
Yes,
mate.
we've already been informed of Postman Pat's exploits earlier in the day, so that was very nicely done.
Keep that. I love it.
Can't help myself. Sam, to finish with you, mate, I know Dave Oliver's coming in and have a chat with us as the winner of the Pro-Am split. We've got Harry to get to as well. I'm sure we're going to hear more from Connor. We've already alluded to it with Connor, actually, the reinvention of the wheel that's going to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours in GT3 racing, and with a view to not just GT3 on the GSRC platforms, but also, of course, what's going to happen in the GT3 Pro Invitational Series with our friends over at the Australian Sim Racing Group. It's going to be very interesting how the next 2 or 3 weeks play out as you guys get your head around the changes, because these are among the biggest in which iRacing has ever thrown at the GT3 format of racing.
Yeah, well, you know, speaking of new tyres and, you know, new tyre model, I guess, you know, I think Connor's actually due for a new set on the old sleigh. So I'd say he's probably more used to tyre changes and stuff like that than we are. So I imagine Connor's probably going to jump in there and be pretty quick from the get-go. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Bit of a shame. I think it's, you know, I've finally gotten comfortable in these cars, and now it's all changing up. But yeah, hopefully it's a bit more fun and a bit more enjoyable to drive. And yeah, looking forward to it.
In saying that, though, it does, for the interim period at least, even the playing field. So there is that element of it to be excited about, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I think once things work themselves out, you know, hopefully we're still somewhere towards the front. And, you know, hopefully some good battling going on, especially, I don't know, we'll see what happens at Nürburgring. That's going to be a fun place to get to work on the tyre, I guess.
Indeed. And I guess the other one is, no doubt, keen to go and put in a few laps around the bend once it joins the iRacing server later in the week as well.
Yeah, hopefully maybe do a round there next year. And yeah, I'll let you go get on to Mr. Lillis or whoever's next. And thanks for the broadcast, boys.
Have a listen to that, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think we've heard that before. A driver seeing himself out. Normally I say, that's it, we've had enough. Thank you, goodbye. But Sammy Blacklock saying, go and talk to somebody else, for Christ's sake. We will do that. Thank you, mate. Well done. You've been a good sport. Disappointing outcome tonight, but promising pace right up until the moment that the internet just didn't want to cooperate for you, which is a disappointing way to see it end. Hopefully we'll see you back on the track next Monday night. Go well.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Fire up, internet fans.
That's it. Have a listen to Connor having a chuckle in the background as well, ladies and gentlemen, on the other side of the number board. Oh, Jesus.
He's a character. He's a character.
Absolutely. Hey, 7 minutes to 10 Eastern Standard Time. When we're done here, go and watch some more of the opening night of the Australian Swimming Trials as well. Places in the World Championship team on the line all week. In Adelaide, of course. We've been mentioning Adelaide rather prominently tonight, but I must say the most fascinating aspect of a trip to the Bend virtually for me is not having to fly into Adelaide and not having to pack my winter wardrobe to do so. Now, Harrison Lawless, there you are. If you can unmute yourself, please. Let's have a chat to you. Well done. Race win. I think we said there earlier, 6th win of the campaign in Waste Options GT3, mate. And one hand on championship glory. What an extraordinary night. I mean, really, the absence of Matty Dench opened it up. You contended very nicely with Jacob O'Reilly. The absence of Lewis Greathead also noted with regards to, knowing the equation and what you had to do. And then all of a sudden, Blacklock disappears off the face of the planet and you inherit the lead and convert it into a win, mate. Not the way you want to win a race, but you'll take it because it now makes the equation for next week in the Nordschleife that much easier for you. And the pressure is off to a point, but not fully.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You've kind of said it all for me there, Zach. That's just about what it is, really. A lot of things going on there, of course. A few people missing tonight. But yeah, as soon as I saw the raindrops out there when we joined the sessions getting close to the race, I knew it was going to be difficult, holding on to Sam. He's been an absolute weapon whenever the rains come down and these things. He's unstoppable. Seriously, props to him. I have no idea how he does it. It's a mystery to me. But he put on an excellent drive tonight. And honestly, the gap, there's not many places I know better than a dry GT3 at Spa. It doesn't really get much better for me. So while that gap was coming down, I don't think I was catching it. He was just too good in the wet. So yeah, it was just gutting. As soon as I saw him disappear, I put him in his shoes. I've had that happen in officials way too often, and it's just absolutely gutting. So it was his race to win tonight. And I was sort of gifted as well by a few people not showing up.
In one respect, though, nice to ensure that the team still ticks the box and gets the job done. And Acura as well, mate, because it's not been lost on anybody that the battle this season has been between Acura and McLaren, and that was a nice chance for Acura to bounce back.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the McLarens have been really driving me up the wall all season, just with their straight line stuff, always showing up in matte black and silver each week. But yeah, it's always good fun. The cars have different strengths. The Acura just sort of struggles a little bit on the tracks where the straight line speed's a bit more important. But it's a good fun challenge, and it's been a really good package. Of course, it's the OP car, sure, but it's not always the easiest to drive. It's not the most free time in the world, especially at a couple tracks where the McLarens have sort of shown their strengths. But yeah, it's been an absolute blast driving that time. Big time.
All right, so the obvious talking points to come out of this, mate. I mean, look at what's going on next week. Do you feel content with where things sit to just have a look at the championship situation, know the equation, and go out there and just tick the box and seal the deal? Or do you want to go out and win next week and put the icing on the cake?
No, I mean, you never go in not wanting to win, right? I think that's a bit of a silly mindset, but, I think just got to go out there and do it. I love the Nürburgring. It's always good fun. The mind's sort of set on majors, the 24-hour coming up, so there's probably not going to be a whole lot of prep in GT3-wise. Obviously, the new build's going to throw a spanner in the works. Everyone's going to be on that, testing it, and so on. We'll see how it goes. A little bit scared for that, but, we'll see where we end up at Nords, and it's been a long season, so... I'm happy to have had all the fights that we've had. A few people stepping up. Obviously, Sam has been incredible, like as a teammate and a competitor, especially in races like this. So yeah, it's been a fun season, and I can't wait to cap it out.
And it's interesting too because, I mean, you're right. It is a bit of a silly mindset to go into as a race car driver, going into a race and not expecting or not hoping or not wanting to win it. But in saying that as well, I mean, it's the Nordschleife. It's one of the more daunting racetracks we visit. So, but in saying that as well, if you take a cautious approach and you actively go about trying to do so, mate, it can very easily trip you up worse.
Absolutely. I mean, like Nürburgring's one of those tracks where things can sort of go wrong at any time. You take a little bit of curb that you've been taking all day, just so slightly different, and you're in the fence. Your day's done. It's a really technical track like that, but I've always loved it to pieces. There's not really many places in the world, other than Spa maybe, that get me going that much. I absolutely love the Nürburgring. So yeah, we'll see how it goes in the new cars. I think it's going to be quite a bit different to drive. There's been a very particular way to drive the Nürburgring the past few years in this sort of tyre and aero model. So yeah, we'll see where we end up.
Indeed. I'm going to come back to that new tyre model in just a moment, but it's interesting too. We're talking about the officials. It's a busy time of the year. There's a GT Pro round coming back here at the start of July as well. So there's never really too much time to rest on your laurels or breathe in this caper. There's always one eye on the next task or the next assignment. As far as the stable's concerned, mate, you mentioned one ripple strip. You get it slightly wrong or you miss a braking marker or whatever. Poor old Tyson Broad got spat out twice tonight. The second time a big shunt, and that was the only real disappointment for the team tonight. On track, obviously, the technical issue for Blacklock, not ideal either. But that was unfortunate for Tice to only make it to lap, I think it was 9 or something, by the time he pulled out of it and said, "That's it, I've had a gutful."
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, you got to sort of look at the positives. I think there's a lot of lads here that have had some incredible performances all year. Sometimes it goes wrong, but yeah, just gotta move on because it's all going to be flipped on its lid next week.
Indeed. Where do you sit with that? How much time have you set aside to dedicate to learning the updates? And will it be just on the select cars that you're driving at the moment, or are you going to dabble in some other stuff across some other manufacturers right across the GT3 board, mate, knowing that there's another GT3 season here on the platforms of the GSRC, another chance to start afresh with a new manufacturer, a championship defence, no doubt, likely for you to be defending as well. What's the plan of attack to getting your head around and feeling comfortable with whatever iRacing you're going to throw at us tomorrow night, Wednesday morning?
It's always just a case of going back to your processes, I think, with new cars or changes to cars. We obviously, for myself and a few of the other guys back at the team with the GTP category, massive learning curve with the new tyre there, and it's honestly just a matter of chipping away at it every day, learning something new. You sort of never stop moving because everyone else around you is going to keep learning the cars. So it'll be the exact same with the GT3. I think there's obviously a lot more appeal, generally speaking, to the GT3 category. There always has been. So people will be obviously setting aside a lot of time. There's a few things going on at the moment, so I don't know personally if it's going to be something that I'm pouring a bunch of time into, but certainly I've always loved the GT3 category, so I'll be making sure at some point to chip away and get to the bottom of the fundamentals, I guess. I don't think people are going to learn these things in a day or a week or whatever. It's going to be finding little things along the way, so it's just going to be a part of, sort of making yourself a part of that, sort of trying to figure something out for yourself and then tell others, and yeah, just stick with the basics and you can only really go up from there.
Define tell others. Will this be an in-team conversation or will this be a more general sportsman-like thing where you're happy to have a chat with people from outside Orbit Drop their headquarters?
I guess it depends. I think a lot of things, particularly with sort of the quicker guys around the place, everyone kind of slowly figures out the same thing anyway. Like as you drive the cars, something will work, something won't. Someone will find something crazy probably early, whether or not that gets patched or not. You know, like the closest thing I can think of is the Super Formula Lights when they came out. Bunch of setup stuff that made them hyper, and other people just didn't know. Some frustrating stuff there, but you know, there'll probably be something like that where it's a big difference that you got to sort of, you know, hold the cards close to your chest. But I guess I'm hoping that's not the case. Either way, it's just going to be. I guess there's no carpet answer to that. There'll be little things that everyone kind of knows, and I guess others that will keep it secret.
Let me ask you this, and we'll have the chance, no doubt, to tip the hat and elaborate a little bit further next Monday night. By the way, that was your Blinky Bill moment of the night that we're just seeing on replay there. That was heart and mouth stuff. That could have been two of you kicked out to the curb. The enormity of what's on the line next week, what's at stake, what you're about to potentially achieve that so many before you have tried and failed at. Has that sunk in yet?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, it's very cool. Like, I've never sort of committed to a championship quite as much. Like, league racing for me, like, I've been on iRacing for only about sort of 4, I think going on 5 years now in October. But I've never sort of leagues have only really come into my sort of frame in the past year or so, and sort of nothing's really, I guess, quite worked out for me. I sort of haven't really worked as hard at my driving and so on. So this one's sort of, in a weird way, come out the blue. I think it's well timed with the pace that I've sort of found in the GT3s, and just generally speaking, I think. Obviously helped by a few people, you know, not showing up week to week, but yeah, it would be pretty cool to land a championship regardless of, you know, the things that have happened along the way.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. I mean, is this the rest of this week? Is it all focused on GT3 specifically, or do you have a chance to go and dabble in something else outside of GT3 at some point?
Definitely a dance between GT3 and the GTPs. I mean, we have to work on the majors side of things for the 24-hour. That's sort of the main thing on my mind. But yeah, of course, definitely be jumping into the GT3s, especially at the Bend as my local circuit.
Very nicely done. And looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table when we get to the Nordschleife for next Monday night, mate. Congratulations again on the win tonight. And again, we look forward to watching that crowning moment for you next Monday night at the Nords, the Green Hell. 90 minutes, a long slog, but nothing compared to what you guys are about to do with the majors. So bring that on, and we'll see you next Monday night.
No better place to do it. Thanks, guys, for the broadcast all season. We'll see you then.
And it's funny because once upon a time, grand final week was just a Mount Panorama lockout. Everything was held at the same track. Now there's a little bit of variance to it, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. We will still see, of course, Bathurst this week with the Porsches. Well done, Harrison Lawless. Thank you, mate. Lachlan Shinkfield's still here. So too Dave Oliver. So too Connor Nixon. Connor, final thoughts on what your teammates have said there. I mean, obviously, a lot to be excited about going into next week, and a lot of excitement beyond that, with still another half a year worth of racing to come in 2025. It's hard to believe we're only at halfway. There's been a lot crammed into the first 19 weeks for us, soon to be 20.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a wild couple of months. I mean, it's been 6 months. I think on kind of just the racing side of it, I mean, from a team side of it, it's just been, yeah, it feels like we've been on a bit of a rocket ship when it comes to just how much we've done. So yeah, it's a lot to kind of look back on. But obviously everyone's still moving forward as a team. But from a personal note, like same with Jens, like Jens has just been insane. The racing's been awesome. And yeah, kind of can't wait until next season. I know Ben Woods and I are looking to go and do Porsche Cup and actually commit to it fully. And yeah, it should be really interesting next season. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Indeed. Big night of racing in GT3 Pro-Am and Am. We're going to get to those guys in just a moment. But Connor, now that you've, completed your due diligent obligations for all the Drop Down Motorsport, when do we actually see you back on the bloody track, please?
Probably Thursday in the Porsche Cup.
Good.
Yeah, just trying to find a bit of time, to be honest. I'm trying to, not do as much. So yeah, Porsche Cup, and then IndyCars on Friday. Friday morning. So yeah, that's probably the next couple of days I'll be doing. But when it comes to Jans, probably Thursday is going to be my main day, and hopefully we can get good in the Porsche Cup because it's reunited the spark to go and drive a Porsche Cup after the Nords. So yeah.
Despite the fact that it amounted to Sweet FA.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is what it is. That's motor racing sometimes. Connor, I'm going to let you go at this point in time as well, buddy. Thank you. Good to
All
catch
good.
up, and all the best with the side hustle as well. Coming to a letterbox near you very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Connor Niston. Thank you, mate. See you Thursday.
See you, mate. Have a good one. Bye.
How good's Postman Pat? All we need now is his black and white cat. Now, let's bring in Dave Oliver and Lachlan Shinkfield at this point in time. Might start with Lockie, actually, because that was a great result for you tonight, mates. Getting the job done at Spa. So Acura dominant across all 3 splits tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's the takeaway from that. And Whiskey Business Racing, geez, where's Greg Heaney when you need something to cry about? He hasn't graced us with his presence tonight, but it's nice that Whiskey Business have been able to win a split tonight, mate. Well done on that. Talk us through the race, talk us through the drive, talk us through the challenges of Spa, and talk us through the weather conditions as well, because we had a transition from lightly wet to dry in the GT3 Pro race. What was it like in your split, please?
Yeah, well, the race start was pretty interesting. We had obviously a few people who in our team decided to start on dry. We had Janesh. He tested it out for us, let us know how it was going, because he started fairly towards the back. And I had Gregory next to me. He ended up starting on dries too, by the looks of it, with his pits. And it looked like it was the way to go, but they both struggled with fuel in the end. So the wet in the end was the better way to go, with a short pit stop on the last one. But I wasn't expecting this result. Came into about the last lap I had of qualifying, and I still hadn't put a time down, so I was pretty shocked to get that. To be honest, it was a pretty good result in the end. But overall the boys did pretty well in Whiskey Business. We got 4 or 5 of us in top 10, I think it was. Yeah, so yeah, happy with that result. First win obviously for me too, so yeah, pretty happy.
And not a bad way to bounce back either, mate, because you've been nowhere to be seen for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, took my first 2 drop rounds at the start of the season. We were racing at Bathurst for the 6 hour with my pops, so was out for those 2 rounds, and then just other stuff in life, trying to get my Excel that I'm racing soon, hopefully, on the track, and it's been that busy. So
well,
yeah.
I think I'm a big fan of the XLs, mate. So looking forward to following the progress there.
Yeah, well, we're not far. We're just getting the car ready. It should only be a few more weeks, and hopefully I'm racing on that too. But yeah.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Actually, memo to iRacing: forget about the bend. Put the XL. Build the Hyundai XL and put it on iRacing. Forget about the tracks for a moment. Build Hyundai XLs within your platform and introduce the world to Australia's best kept secret. Now, Lockie, the challenges of the Spa circuit, mate, 7 kilometres an hour race, but the challenge is tenfold next week because it's 25 kilometres and it's Nürburgring. Some of your stable will no doubt be lining up for the majors, 24 around there. Some of them have just obviously lined up for the 24 over the weekend just gone as well. So there's a fair bit of a Nürburgring fever within the iRacing platform at the moment. How are you feeling about going out there and getting on the circuit and potentially backing up the feats of tonight over the course of a little bit longer race?
Yeah, well, I'm feeling semi-confident. Where obviously I've not got the best experience with the Nürburgring. I'm not reliable as much on it, but I know the circuit pretty well, so I hope I'm going to do well. But yeah, the boys did their 6 hour on the 24 hour on the weekend, and they came 5th overall in the end in their class, which is pretty good considering where they started. So they should all be pretty comfortable with it. But definitely been doing some practice this weekend with the new tyre model. That's definitely going to throw in a curveball for next week, for sure. But yeah, overall, I haven't done any time in the career on it yet either, so that will be a bit of a learning curve. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty comfortable with the car, so I've got confidence in myself.
Indeed. What else is going to keep you busy as far as the sim racing is concerned this week, buddy?
I might take a crack at Porsches, because it's Bathurst. It's pretty special track to me, so might take a crack at that and look maybe at starting another series, do the last race for that, or last 2 races and start that next season too. Maybe something with a bit more downforce, maybe, and open wheels.
Indeed, but in saying that as well, I don't think you'll be alone. I think there'll be a few that'll arrive on Thursday night and line up just because of where it's at. So you'll be in good company in the Porsches, and then of course the Nürburgring next week as well. What about what all the other boys have been saying here as well, mate? The upgrades that are coming from iRacing, the reinvention of the wheel as far as the GT3 cars are concerned, the entire crop, all 10 of them, getting a fair bit of TLC in the update that lands tomorrow night. How will you go about getting your head around all of that?
Yeah, well, I think it's only... I know the McLarens are going to love it, because the problem with them is, because I did that last season, I was McLaren, and you do one bit of the rears, you obviously slide it too much once, and your next 5 laps and just cool down laps pretty much. And it's pretty hard, but I reckon they're going to shoot up the most, and hopefully it might fix the hot tyres on the understeer, which I reckon we might get a bit of on the Nürburgring. So be interesting to see how that goes. But overall, yeah, I reckon it'll be a positive all around for a lot of cars.
All right, very nicely done. Well done tonight, mate. Good race, great result. Challenging conditions, but you've prevailed. Put the Acura, put Risky Business Racing on top. Go and hit Greg Heaney up for a bottle of your favourite, by the way, and just put it in safekeeping for a later point in time. And
will do.
and tell him he can thank me for the fact that you're making that request too, by the way.
Yeah, will do.
He always loves celebrating his winners with the aforementioned product.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have something to say about that.
100%, but that's all right. We can worry about that at a later point in time. Go well, buddy. Congratulations. Great result. And good luck, even though, as you say, it's a bit of a challenging circuit and predicament next week, but good luck at the Nürburgring all the same.
Thank you.
And that brings us to Dave Oliver. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Good. Yourself?
Well, next question. Don't worry about me. That's an off-air story. Let's have a chat about your night, please, because that was a nice way to bounce back after the disappointment of last week at Monza. I mean, you've gone out and notched up win number 3 of the campaign, and done so in a way that is going to vault you right up into the upper echelons of championship contention here, mate. There's a couple of notable absentees tonight. We'll get to that in a moment, but talk us through the challenges that you faced in the Pro-Am split, because as you've already heard, it was fairly challenging in the opening stint in the Pro split with that transition from slightly wet to bone dry. What was it like in your split, please?
Yeah, it was good night. Able to get qualify on pole, which was actually really nice. That was in the wet. It would have been about, I don't know, 50% wetness. And then same with the race start. So it was a case of you needed wets at the start, and then probably maybe 2/3 of the way through that first stint, that first, was it 20-25 minute fuel tank, it started to dry up, and a few of the guys who were behind, so like Art Baz and one of the sorry, I know. Andrew Neil, they were just behind us along with Craig Bond, and well, I was able, myself and Craig Bond kind of were able to bolt at the start just with the clear air, and those boys pitted a couple laps before me, and I think I probably just missed the crossover point by about a lap or two, and they were able to actually make up the 20 seconds that the gap that I'd pulled, and come out just ahead of me. But I was still doing I was still kind of keeping it, doing quick laps on the wets, so, and getting low down to like a lap or two before having to pit. So yeah, then it was just a case of those two were battling ahead for quite a few laps, and I was just trying to keep the gap down, because I knew I was about 4 or 5 seconds, because I knew that I'd had a shorter second stop, and then unfortunately Andrew Neil had a whoops before the bus stop chicane, and yeah, then it was just a case of Art Baz he must have been ever so slightly being held up, and he was really quick, and he kind of pulled a good 6-7 second gap, and then once we did the second stop, it was about 2 seconds, and then unfortunately for Baz, with about 2-3 laps to go, he came together with a back marker and lost that gap, and we were like, it was nice clean battle, and then he just had a spin at the double left-handers in the middle of the track, and unfortunately hit the fence, but he was able to bring it home in second. So but yeah, it was just a case of keeping it on the island at the start there. If I had been further back, I would have potentially rolled the dice and risked slicks a bit earlier, but when you're out front, you kind of got to play your cards a bit safer.
This is very true, especially when you've got a championship to take into consideration as well, mate. It's there. You're right there. You can reach out, you can grab it, you can touch it, you can taste it. But you've got to get through next week as well. What's the thought process going into the Nordschleife, knowing how arduous a task, how revered a circuit that is, and knowing that it's 90 minutes. So that's going to be somewhere in the realm of 12, maybe if you're lucky, 13 laps. Actually, no. 12 times, no, it might even only be 11, depending upon how many pit lane transits you got to do. 12 at the most. It's going to be a very short, sharp sort of race. We only got 8 laps around there in the Porsche last Thursday night.
Yeah, I'll just be especially with this week, with this unknown week with the new update. It's just, I guess, just survive and try and get your head wrapped around the car for whatever changes and stuff iRacing throws at us, and just go in there and try and put your best foot forward and survive, and hope that the just like Bathurst, the mountain decides, the green hell decides over there. So as I found out in the Porsches, one little wrong curb hit, especially in those cars with the no TC, and you can be in the fence easily. So it'd just be try and survive, and hopefully it's a nice clean battle, and hopefully we can throw a bit of strategy dice in there and see what happens.
Indeed. Now, talk me through your thoughts on the changes that are coming and how you're going to go about, navigating your way through the process of getting your head around it all.
I'm probably either just go straight to Nords and just start doing laps there, or even jump back here. Just so it was a bit of a like a back-to-back kind of test kind of thing. So try and see if we can get the settings for for here, and try and just run a test session or something like that, just a track that kind of deal. And so it's just gonna be interesting. Like personally, use one of the paid setup deals, and I'm not sure if they're going to particularly have a Nord setup for next week, especially seeing the main N24 was just previous. So it might just be a case of seeing what you can come up with and cobble together, or even having just to use one of the new baseline sets, and and kind of go from there, and just grab whatever's comfortable and run with it.
All right. What else is on for the rest of this week, please?
Probably IndyCar at Portland's.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, I stupidly actually thought that we were getting the Portland in this update because we haven't actually run it yet. And then I realised it's already come out and I already have it. So for some stupid reason, I've bought it, never driven on it, but then thought that it was coming out this update. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun, having 2 days to go learn the track. But I'll probably jump on it once, even before that, if not Friday night, and send it. So it looks like a bit of a fun track, and I think I might have remembered playing it on some R Factor or GT Legends or something on that from back in the day. So yeah, go from there and see what happens. It should be a fun little track.
Indeed, it should be. And of course, the Ben coming this week as well. I didn't see that comment actually about Bondi before it disappeared. Apologies for that. But there must be a reason why my little mate's not in here saying g'day to us on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Now, Dave, as well, I guess the other thing too, Spa, one of those great race tracks, but we end with two meccas, the Nordschleife being next week. The other thing too is you're aboard the Acura. There have been many different instances this season where the McLaren's had the edge. Tonight it was the Acura right across the board in all three splits. That's another element to take into consideration going into next week, no doubt.
Yeah, because usually, like even with the N24, it's a case of the Mustang and the Acura, and the couple of the other cars aren't actually involved with that race. I unfortunately didn't get to do any of the N24, but yeah, it would be interesting just to see how the Acura goes. If it's anything like the others, it should go well. But yeah, it's until I actually get to do some laps and stuff, it'll be a bit of an unknown.
Indeed. And of course, IndyCar we're looking forward to Friday night before that. And maybe a trip out to Real World Motorsport this weekend for you?
Out at S&P for the MRA event out there.
Western Creek, that's it.
Yeah, the track that either smells like a tip or smells like an arnott's bakery. So one of the two. Bit of a should be good event, and hopefully it's not as cold as it's been in Sydney the last few days. But it should be fun.
Well, at least it won't be snowing.
You never know. It says snowing about an hour away from here at the moment. So
that's what I mean. I know that point geographically speaking, where you can guarantee you're going to get snow, and you can kind of feel rest assured that you're not going to. Dave, well done tonight, mate. Good result. One hand on the championship there. I'll have a look at the points. Although actually you are going to have to work hard next week because it's Adam Lavis might be able to bring us up to speed with the points equation when it's ready. But you're going to have to work hard for it next week. There's no doubt about that because Adam Chiplin's there still. Paul Wood, Bondi's got a long road to recover. Will Buchanan and Nathan Michael. There's 44 points covering the top six. Jesus Christ.
We've 90 on the line for a win.
Yeah, so that adds. I mean, we're talking about Harrison Lawless. The pressure's not necessarily on him, but it's certainly on all of the six of you, because you're going to have to do all your markers next week, and I couldn't think of a more difficult assignment than the Nordschleife in which to try and actually do that. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Good luck for the rest of the week, mate. I hope it goes well. We'll catch up on Friday night, no doubt, and obviously we will see you next Monday night at the Nords as well.
No worries. Thanks again, guys.
And fresh off a public holiday in the city of churches, it's funny that we're talking about Adelaide so prominently tonight. No wonder it feels cold here in my cockpit at the moment in my broadcast booth. Hello, Sam Chapman.
Hello, mate. It's pretty cold in my little house as well.
You're noting the reference, but that's okay.
Ignore it.
Yeah, you're ignoring it. Okay, righto. Ninth position on the grid, fifth in the race, mate. Challenging opening stint, but you pushed through. Took advantage of some shortcomings for the Orbit Drop Bear duo. Of course, the blackout for Blacklock. And, oh, I see what I did there. Very nice. Not for Sam, but certainly for you. And also, of course, Tyson Broad getting caught up in incidents early on as well, mate. Raced hard, pushed Andrew Dyson every step of the way. Fourth was in reach, but just bridged too far. Well done on a top 5, however.
Yeah, thank you. That was, that's funny doing that moment there. I was trying to radio that I was going to pit lane and hit the pit limiter and let him through, and then didn't get past for the rest of the race. So that was a top moment. But yeah, not a bad race all in all. It was a tricky start, given the it was still a bit wet, and the decision to put on more or less wing was interesting. We had guys that put on 10 wing. I had about 7, and I would imagine there were guys that had 5. So we all sort of switched it over in the pit stops to a lower setting, and raced on from there. But yeah, not a bad night all in all.
Indeed. A great night for the stable. I mean, obviously the Acura had held sway tonight. That was very clear early on. Just how challenging were those opening stages, trying to navigate your way through that, because it was very clear that the dry tyre was the right tyre to be on, but there were some hairy moments.
Yeah, absolutely. Got into the back of someone very lightly that went them around, so unfortunate for Snudden. Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, particularly that was sort of the part where the Acura could pull out a few legs, and then towards the end of the race, it should have probably been more of a Macca race. But I think by that point it was partly gone, you just had to manage it from there. So the set felt pretty good tonight once you put a little bit more wing on here and there. But yeah, it was definitely tricky those first few laps, trying to get around and trying to predict everyone's braking point, because some were doing going in a lot slower or braking a bit later than what you would expect.
All right, mate. Let me ask you the obvious questions with regards to the next 7 days. Patch update drops later in the week, Australian Eastern Standard Time. There's a lot of change coming to GT3. We don't know exactly how much it's going to reinvent the wheel in this format of racing. How much time have you put aside to get your head around that, specifically relating to the McLaren, but then maybe later down the line the other manufacturer entries as well? Thinking, of course, that we've got not just next week to get through, but then 2 terms beyond that. We've also got 4 more rounds of the GT Pro Series, which you're heavily part of as well, with Louis Greathead, who wasn't on the grid tonight either. It's important to note there's a lot to pay attention to and keep an eye on and absorb over the next 48 to 72 hours.
Yeah, there is. Hopefully I'll get a bit of time to jump in the car, because we'll need to build, we've obviously had setups for NURBS, given the 24-hour, but that they'll all have to be rebuilt for next week. So we'll see how it plays out. The reports of the early access sound pretty positive as far as the ability to race is concerned, and push a bit harder and get on the brakes. So that's a good sign, but it will make it a bit difficult to get that set together for next week, given we had all these sets for NURBS, although the Macca wasn't one of the cars within NURBS either. We ended up running the Ferrari within that, and it was sort of probably a battle between Fez, the Ford and the BMW in the end there. We'll see how that plays out, but it sounds like it should be positive, and that's a very good thing, given there's been a fair bit of scrutiny to the GT3 tyre model within iRacing for a long period of time.
And then for you, there'll be some other racing to contend with yet. Porsche Cup, obviously, Thursday night. Mount Panorama, looking forward to that. I've already covered that off with you. We'll probably see in the Formula Ford Friday night. But then, next Monday night, Green Hell, Nordschleifer, another 11-lap cruise around there, if you can call it that. What are your thoughts going into that, noting full well that we've got so much at stake, and you could yet play a role in helping one of your teammates reel in Harrison Lillis, but it's going to take a lot of work considering the advantage he has?
I think Lewis is probably gone. It'll probably be a case of just making sure that Lewis and Jake end up on the podium more than anything else. But I would imagine, given their pace, they'll be able to do it on their own. Hopefully, I'll be good around there. We did NERBs over the weekend. We came P2 in top splits, so we were very happy with that. But I haven't done it in the Macca, so we'll see what that's like. But the Ferrari and the Macca don't handle all that differently, so if we can get it set together, I think it'll be relatively competitive.
And then, of course, there'll be the chance to go and do some laps around the bend as well. From your own standpoint, mate, I mean, I'm looking at the championship standings here. You're still very much firmly in the race for a top 10 finish. You're sitting 8th at the moment. Can you improve on that next Monday night?
Geez, I hope it wouldn't go any further backwards. So, yeah, I mean, fingers crossed. I think, that my pace probably wasn't the best in the turn. Like, Rich was a bit quicker than me. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's up and about. And actually Eli was very good over the weekend as well, along with Josh. So we'll see where those guys end up. And yeah, it'll be a case of, NERBS is obviously a very different track, so if you haven't done laps around it, you'll struggle. But if you have, then you might be looking pretty. So we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't go any further backwards and we can push forward a little bit. But yeah, who knows?
All right, mate. No, who knows at all. It's very much a venture into uncharted territory next Monday night. Looking forward to that immensely. But this is the end of the road as far as this incarnation of GT3 is concerned. It's unfortunate that we've still got one round to get through with a big change on the way. Hopefully it doesn't have too much of an impact on the quality of the product in terms of the battle that we've seen thus far. Hopefully this championship finishes with a real cracker around the Green Hell next Monday night, and then we get 2 weeks off to reset and go again. Will you go and have a look at some of the other manufacturers, or are you keen to stay where you're at with the McLaren?
We might have a look around. This is a big update. I'm not necessarily wedded to the car, so we'll see where it all stands and see whether I'll want to race again next season with it. But yeah, we'll fish around and see what's good. But I largely enjoyed the Macca. It's just mostly wet conditions and that sort of thing that it struggles a bit more. So yeah, we'll see where all this pans out. But I can't imagine this new tyre model will make the racing worse. I can only imagine that it will make it better, which is a good thing. And hopefully we'll see closer and bigger fights a bit more, like we see in Porsche Cup and that sort of thing.
All right, Chapo, well done, mate. I'm drawing blanks at the moment, so I do apologise because I'm running out of content and questions to ask, to be fair. But well done. Played a good hand tonight. Top 5 finish. Consistency continues. And all set fair for a good run next week at the Nordschleife with, as I say, yourself, Lewis, O'Reilly, still there in contention for some strong results for the Vermilion stable and just to fuel the fire for the rivalry that'll be all but Drop Bear versus Vermilion when Term 3 gets underway, mate. Go well. Hopefully see you Thursday night for Bathurst and then even Friday night for the Formula Fords as well.
Yep, sounds good. Catch up.
There he is, Sam Chapman. We might have something in the way of championship standings for some of the divisions here to show you in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. I mentioned too, by the way, and just having a chat there with Chapo, jogged from memory. I mentioned July 2 as an important date to put in the diary. That is a Wednesday. It is the first Wednesday of July, the 7th month of the year. The start of the new financial year, of course, is the day before. I want you to make note of that because that'll be the 4th instalment of the Australian Open World Nationals, of which Chapo is a former champion. More details to come, including the track, etc., in the coming weeks. But July 2, put it in your diary. We look forward to your company then. Super Formula Light, Australian Open World Nationals, the team at SRW looking to get on the scoreboard, and the GSRC looking to extend their dominance there and win a 4th consecutive title. Harrison Lillis, 64 points to the good, now leads. Lewis Greathead, 364. Jacob O'Reilly, 358. That's on for second, isn't it? That is really on. Denchi 323. Adam Lavis, I get the feeling it's done. I don't see a way for Denchi to win this title, which brings to an end quite an extraordinary run of 3 years and 1 term of dominance. It had to end eventually. I just didn't realise that 13 was going to be both a lucky and an unlucky number for the great man.
Yeah, it looks like it's 2.5 years, whatever it's been. It's 3.5 years almost. Is finally coming to a change. So it's going to be one of those things where it's already weird enough seeing the 183 on the side of the car in the P Cup, let alone next season seeing it back on the side of a GT3 car. Most people won't even remember that's his actual number. So it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out.
Indeed, it is going to be very, very interesting indeed. As I said, you're right. Weird's the right word. Weird feeling. We're in very uncharted territory. We haven't been here before since at least the start of 2022. That was the last time Dench wasn't the champion going into a season of GT3 competition. We can be sad about that era being over, but we can be excited as well. With regards to what it means going forward, just the depth, the quality of the product that is GT3 racing here on a Monday night on the platforms of the GSRC. It is alive and well, and it will no doubt lift the intensity now that we've got more than one genuine outright championship contender at the front of that field. There's no doubt about that, and it makes analysing car selection for a various different number of drivers going into next term all the more interesting as well. Sam Blacklock, despite that packet loss tonight, now I'm just having a look there. Yeah, he is non-classified, unfortunately. That's disappointing. He stays 6th. Eli Donaldson, Sam Chapman, Nick Wood, Tyson Broad. Still, again, only that 4 manufacturers in the top 10 representing those 4 different teams. Actually, no. Andrew Dyson's... hang on. What am I missing here? Entropy, Vermilion, Orbit. No, there's only 3 teams in the 10. Orbit with 4, Vermilion with 4, and Entropy with 2. 4 different manufacturers, though. 1 Ford, 1 Porsche, 3 Acuras, and 5 McLarens. Interesting. Let's have a look at Pro-Am. Dave Oliver on top there. We just need to go back up to the top. There it is, 337, plays 329. It's 8 points. It's only 8 points from Oliver to Adam Chiplin. Look at that, 4 different manufacturers in the top 5. Paul Wood, Craig Bond, Will Buchanan, Nathan Michael. That is tantalising stuff. 44 points covers 1st through 6th. Game on as far as this championship is concerned. 1, 2, 3, 4 Porsches, 1, 2, 3 McLarens, 1 Merc, 2 Acuras in the top 10 there. That's been par for the course throughout much of the season in Waste Options GT3 Pro-Am. And AM looks like this. Still, despite the fact that the race was won by Lachlan Shinkfield tonight, look at that. He's only 13th in the point standings. You can win it from anywhere in AM, can't you? Liam Amos still maintains the lead despite only finishing 7th tonight. 4th for Sam Woodhouse. He's 2nd. It's 47 the margin there. So 1st to 2nd is covered by a bigger margin in both Pro and Pro-Am. And the top 6 in Pro and Am, I should say, separately, than the top 6 in Pro-Am. Extraordinary stuff. 4 different manufacturers in the top 4. There are 5 different manufacturers in the top 10. That's the only split in which that is the case. Ford, McLaren, Acura, Porsche, and BMW. 2 Bimmers, 3 Porsches, 2 Fords. 4 Porsches, I should say. I've tripped up there. 4 Porsches, 2 Fords, 2 Bimmers, an Acura, and a McLaren. 417 plays 370, 366 for Dale Atkins. So that battle for seconds on. Nick Wilcoxon 354. 302 for Quinton de Klerk. Tristan Koch could still muster up a top 5 championship result. Tim Watson 276, Robert Gay 264, and Mitchell Buckman 257 with Janice Ragwani 255. Grackle Eastwood just outside 250. So again, 7 points covers 9th and 11th. 12 points covers 7th and 8th. 5 points covers 5th and 6th. And that margin is 16 between 2nd and 4th, but it's 1st to 2nd is 47. It's quite interesting stuff. Righto. So, with that, we're done. The platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Monday Night Motorsport for night 1 of week 9 of term 2 for 2025. We will have a look now at what's coming your way, but not before we say a big thanks to all the sponsors that make it possible for us to do what we do here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club each and every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday night. Sprite and Soda, Waste Options, Trophy AI, Orbic Australia, Bowen's the Builder's Choice, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. Here's the schedule for what's left of this week, this penultimate week of term 2, penultimate week of semester 1. Downforce Legends tomorrow night, Tuesday night Motorsport, Sandown Motor Raceway, 2 sprint races there, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Titanic CR, it was great to see the first round of TCR. Actually, no, sorry, I stand corrected. That was cancelled, of course, over the course of the weekend at Wanneroo, I was going to say, but no, they were replaced by TA2, that's right. So, yes, maybe Touring Car Racing Australia will start up in 2025. Maybe it won't. I've got my money on the ladder at this point. Anyway, the virtual equivalent is from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course tomorrow night, 40-minute race, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be a belter too. So, good luck to all our competitors taking part there. Wednesday, Orbic Australia ARCA Series. Now, I'll be with Daniel Yeaman for this one. Daytona International Speedway, the venue, 50 minutes to journey or 50 laps, whichever comes first. I've got my money on the former, considering the amount of laps we'll probably do behind the caution there. Sonoma Raceway on the NASCAR short shoot configuration for 60 minutes of supercar racing with thanks to Trophy AI to follow from 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's a long one on Wednesday night as well. Thursday night, the final sprint round of the Sprite and Soda Super Formula Light Wings and Slicks campaign. That is coming your way from the Hungaro Ring, 7:30 Eastern. We're with you from 7:25. Matt Schmidtke and I. Porsche Cup from Mount Panorama Bathurst to follow. We expect to pack the house there. We're expecting a grid in excess of 50. Maybe pushing a capacity grid of 62. That is, of course, coming up on Thursday night. It's only a 40-minute race. It's a sprint race. It will be hard-fought, cutthroat stuff. Don't worry about that. That's 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you can join us for that. Friday night, normal programming resumes with the A-team back in the house. Joe Baldwin and yours truly. NASCAR short configuration again in action, this time for Formula Fords in our entree slot on Friday night from Sonoma Raceway, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, a couple of those rounds have been chopped and changed from sprint rounds to enduros, whatever the case may be. We'll see you from Sonoma on Friday night. Maybe there'll be a splash and dash component, maybe there won't be. Then on to Portland for 55 laps in the GSRC Sprite and Cider Road to Windy Series. That follows 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 55 laps. There will be a competition caution thrown in for good measure there. Saturday night, the Mountain Men. Now, make a note of that. We'll tell you what car of choice will be on track on Saturday night during Friday night's broadcast between Formula Ford and IndyCar, so I hope you can join us for that. Race start is, again, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday night, and it is, again, 32 laps the journey. Next Monday night, the grand finale of both GT4 and GT3. Now, make note of this. Because it is a longer race for GT4, it is a later start for GT3. And it's also a longer race as well. So it's a big night next Monday night, a long night as well. I'm hoping that I'm feeling a little bit better than what I am right now, let me tell you, in readiness to be firing on all cylinders for that. But we start at the Watkins Glen Cup configuration circuit in upstate New York. Watkins Glen International for 45 minutes of GT4 at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're with you a couple of minutes prior to that. Off to the Nordschleife, then following that, the full 25-kilometre Mecca that, of course, played host to official 24s over the weekend, played host to the Porsche Cup last Thursday night, plays host to GT3 this coming Monday night, and that'll be from 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 90 minutes of journey. So 15 minutes later start, therefore 45 minutes later finish, therefore post-race show going beyond 11 o'clock as we crown champions and acknowledge them and celebrate them and chat to them next Monday night right here across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. And it's the start of an enormous week of grand finals, of which we look forward to bringing you every bump, every rub, every single twist and turn along the way, all the great excitement and drama and action that comes with the week in which champions are crowned here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Hope you enjoyed Monday Night Motorsport. Hope you enjoyed your long weekend. Not you, Queensland, not you, Western Australia, but I hope everybody else did in the progressive and civilised parts of the country. The King's Birthday public holiday done and dusted for another year. And on the way out, of course, we remind you that we got some great real-world motorsport coming away this week with the Le Mans 24-hour, the Canadian Formula One Grand Prix, NASCAR from Mexico as well, and I reckon there's some IndyCar in action too. So we're excited about the action and the drama that is to come in the real world, and the Australian Superbike Championship up here at Morgan Park Raceway in Warwick as well, but not before we, of course, enjoy what's coming up. Oh, sorry, it's not Road America, it's Gateway, of course. It's St. Louis. It's Monday morning as well. It's about 10 a.m, so that's a civilised time for IndyCar Monday morning from Gateway. So, yes, there is IndyCar this weekend, but it's a little bit later than it was originally planned to be. So there's a lot of racing to look forward to, both virtually and in the real world. And as far as the virtual component is concerned, we look forward to being with you on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday night here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. The Australian Swimming Championships continuing this week as well. Lots of great sport, lots of great drama, lots of great excitement coming up. It's a busy time of the year, and you're in the best seat in the house. Set up your sports bars, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to need them, especially next week when State of Origin 2 is playing out whilst we're crowning champions in the ARCA series and also the supercars. Big night here. Both Aidan Cale and Harrison Lewis putting one hand on the title for Orbit Drop Air Motorsport in Waste Options GT night. Night one of week 9 of term 2, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. It was Cale in GT4. It was Lewis in GT3. And we look forward to your company on Wednesday night for the ARCAs from the World Centre of Racing. Then off to the West Coast to California for the first of 2 trips to Sonoma this week. In the meantime, from all of us here, thanks for your company, and we look forward to having you with us again later in the week as week 9 continues and we edge closer to champions being crowned, and we'll know more about that big patch update when we rejoin you on Wednesday night. On behalf of Adam Lavis, all the crew here, I'm Zach Caven. Enjoy the rest of your long weekend public holiday Monday evening, everybody. Bye for now.